Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. However you happen to be watching and or listening to this, I want to welcome you to another episode. Actually, should I say the final live episode of the Gaming Circle podcast for the year 2023. I'm your host, Mr. K. Asante, TKO Asante on your Xbox, your PlayStations, your Twitters, all those places where we communicate. And we are on time and we are live, and I am joined by my co-host all year long, this whole journey long, the brother I would not be able to do this without, the great Everborn Saga. What's going on, sir? How you doing? Oh, and now he's talking and we can't hear him because he muted himself. Oh no!
I was saying it is an all new day with all new energy, if you catch my drift.
I feel you. Oh, we got to pepper the step. We got to start talking. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What a week, man. What
it's been a week. Yes, sir.
Week.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not even gonna bury the lead. Sega is back. They are back with that irreverent spirit.
That's what you're talking about?
That's it. I'm going straight.
I thought you were about to say
nothing else is important.
I thought you were about to say mission accomplished. K. Asante is now the proud owner of a Model 3.
We can talk about that. We can definitely talk about that. I'm just
the
saying,
indoctrination has finally functioned,
yes.
ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, let's start with these life things. Go ahead.
Yes.
Tell us about your recent come to Jesus moment.
Come to Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, I've been telling you to do this for like the last 2 years, and you finally relented.
Okay. So, some that know have heard me and seen me complaining on the old X streets about me. I've worked from home for about 13 years now, give or take, and worked from home way before COVID, all of that. I used to live in New England and all of that. And so, of course, I moved south, work from home, been doing so ever since, get the job done, no problem. But of course, after COVID, they have this return to the office initiative. And I'm like, return to the office? I've never been in an office. But somehow I've got swept into this whole thing. So long story short, I'm being made to come into an office X amount of times a week, right? So, and of course, this office is like, oh, it's fine and all that. But needless to say, I have no business being there. I have no co-workers that work there with me. I'm just gonna sit there, do my job, and then go home. But it's fine. So I've now had to go on this hunt for a new vehicle because in my household, since I work from home, we can only have one car. You know, be cost effective, right? No need for two because my wife is the one that runs around with the kids and she's a photographer and all of that. Long story short, I've been through the ringer, ladies and gentlemen, trying to get a car. The straw that broke the camel's back for me was I walked in with a sticker price of $15K, and the dude sat me down and tried to talk to me through why this thing that was $15K now is $25 because of all of his hidden fees and how normal that is.
Pause that story right there. What did I say to you as soon as you told me that?
Yeah. Go ahead. Gloat for a moment.
I told you so. I told you what would happen. See, everybody looks at the Tesla like it's like a luxury car. It's really not. Like, I know that's the category that they compare it to, which is fine. But when you go to a dealer right now, people don't understand all the markups that they add, and the same price that you get may not be the same price that I get.
Yep.
And it's all going to be this whole haggle thing that you have to do, and they're going to tell you a bunch of BS as to why you're supposed to get this.
Blowing smoke.
So, right.
Yeah.
Whatever price is advertised for a Tesla is the price that you're going to pay. Yep. There is no hassle. There's no this. There's no that.
Oh, it is. Okay, so let me tell the people how hilarious this is. Okay, let me tell the people. Walk in. I didn't walk in. I did not walk in.
Oh, you did it from the app, right?
So I'm like, okay. And those in corporate America will understand what I mean when I say, the RFC had to get passed first. The request for change needed to be approved. But at some point, the approver herself came and said, "Go ahead and hit the buy button already." So I was in there like swimwear, if you catch my drift. Needless to say, here I am on the app, And I don't know if you've ever like signed up for a social media account before. That was my process for purchasing this vehicle. Holy crap, like your name, you put it on your phone and you set it up, and of course they need your driver's license. You take a picture of it, it takes all the information. Like the whole process of purchasing and registering and having it delivered to me is as easy as, okay, I've set it up all here, and then I wait until they say, oh yeah, schedule your appointment, and that's it. Like it is the weirdest process that I've ever been through, but
it's not. It is the most straightforward.
I get the indoctrination. Right? I get the indoctrination. Now I'm like, any and everything that is of this level of purchase scale should be done through this way. Like even if it's not Tesla, right? It could be anything. If you're buying a house, it should be done through this way. You do it this way, and then all of a sudden, DocuSigns all 80 something pages for you, and then bam, you're just waiting for it to be.
And this is the thing: like you go into the app or the website, however you're doing it, it will then run your credit or whatever and say, we found this offer for financing, that offer for financing.
Well, I had my own finance company already on deck so, because I had a better rate than what Tesla was offering. They were like, oh yeah, we sent this to them. Just send us a photocopy of the front and back of the check, blah, blah. Bam, it's done. It's just out of my hands.
And
it's
again,
done.
all of it is a few clicks, and it's just a matter of when you're going to pick up your car.
So yeah. There will be more Tesla talk in 2024 as I am collecting.
We should do a Tesla podcast now that I think about it.
As I'm collecting my vehicle, when is it? On the 16th, I think it is the 16th. That's on Saturday the 16th. I'll be collecting my vehicle.
Birthday.
On your happy birthday to me. On your birthday.
Now, between the two of us, we have three of them, and I suspect what is going to happen to you.
Oh,
what happened to me is going to happen.
Don't say it. Don't say it. No,
you're going to your wife is going to you're going to watch your wife going to the gas station.
Yep.
And then you're gonna become unfamiliar with what a gas station is.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like,
she's gonna be looking at you sideways, right? And then when it's time for her to re-up, you're gonna end up getting her that Model Y. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you how it's gonna happen right now. And this is before. And
so, ladies and gentlemen,
I don't care what anyone. Okay.
All this is to say the indoctrination has worked. Don't listen to Everborn Saga too long. Before long, I'll be sitting there going, Sega! And by the way, we're going to pause for a moment and have a deeper conversation about that Sega ad, because I could have sworn, like, no one will convince me different. They hired a dude that looked like Everborn Saga to scream that Sega at the end. I swear to God, somebody is trolling Everborn Saga with that ad. I'm just saying.
I also would like to point out that they were using Xbox controllers in the trailer.
Indeed, they were. Mr. Web Dave, good morning, sir. He's here with a $2 super chat. He says, good morning, Gaming Circle, K Asante, and Everborn Saga. Well, good morning to you, sir.
You know what,
I will be on the Gamers Council this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you know, real quick, because he just reminded me, it will be an awesome show. I see there are some interesting guests afoot. So come check us out Sunday evening on the Gamers Council on Web Dave's channel. I hope to see y'all there. Thank you for being here, Web Dave.
Now,
you were saying, sir.
Of Web Dave, it was on his show.
Yes, sir.
Where he asked me what was my vision for Sega. What do I want to see them do so much, right? And it was there that I said to him, and he can attest to this.
Yes,
and I put another tweet out from like July saying the same thing, but
he's keeping his receipts.
No. Listen, I said I would love for them to come back and make a 2D Shinobi kind of game with updated graphics, sort of Sonic Superstar style.
Oh yeah,
right?
oh yeah.
I would love for them to make a golden axe that is sort of like a almost like Elden Ring-ish, right? I would love for them to go back and do a Sifu style Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
Right? I would love for them to bring back Crazy Taxi as like a service game, Jet Set Radio. And they literally did
everything. Got all your letters, man. They literally went, who is this Everborn Saga and how can we make him happy on this Christmas day? And they literally listened to your honey-do list and they gave you everything you wanted. Oh, by the way,
that was
anime
just
compilations. Shout out to you in South Africa, listening to us live. Salute to you.
Podcast, baby.
Absolutely,
listen,
I love it.
When
Please,
I made
continue.
that list, that was just like a wet dream kind of list. Like,
wow,
oh my god,
okay.
if I was in charge, I would greenlight all these projects, and they just did it. They did all of them.
The osmosis your way.
The only thing that I requested that they have not announced is Gunstar Heroes.
Well, they also haven't given you the AAA Sonic game that you've been wanting either. They haven't given you that. Sure. That ray traced reflections Sonic game.
Well, speaking of Sonic, they have given us a Sonic game that is about to do big numbers.
And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, let us get into the games. Well, actually, you know what? Let me switch our feed here to the games that we have been playing. Mr. Everborn Saga, regale me with talk of the Sonic game that requires unusual means to achieve. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I am actually gonna bury the lead right there because I want to talk about two other things really quick.
Okay.
So I finished Diablo 4 this week.
Story missions.
Yeah, the campaign, the main campaign. I rolled credit. There's more to do after that that you may want to do to set up for the DLC that's coming at the end of next year. So I may go back and do that, but I did roll credits. I beat Lilith. You know, that's not a spoiler. People told me that was a spoiler. Like, she's the villain. Your whole thing is to go against her. Obviously, you're going to beat Lilith at the end.
How dare you tell me what happens at the end of a game that means you're going to have to be...
Right? It's like you beat the boss. That's a spoiler. But I beat Lilith, and I did it with a barbarian build. And what I love about Diablo, and first of all, let me just give praise to the team. I don't know what people are talking about with the seasonal content because I didn't play any of that, but the campaign is A1. You want to talk about customization, you want to talk about delivery. Listen, what I'm surprised about is how the dude that did the voice for Lorath in Diablo 4 and for Sid in FF16, he did not even get nominated.
Hey man, it was a hard year, sir. You know, so many hard games and so many great games that deserve attention.
I mean, should they have nominated the Spider-Man actor? Like, he didn't even win. Maybe if you put the Hollywood actor. Anyway, whatever. The point is,
continue.
The point is, A1 presentation, and it's an RPG man's RPG, right? It's action, yes, and I'm going to get to the other thing in a minute, but what an amazing game, right? So anyway, I did a barbarian build, but the way I set my character up was like to auto heal. So when you're in a group of enemies, you will like, if you're surrounded, you'll start recovering health. Right. Okay. So you can run in a group of enemies and they'll start hitting you, but because you're around them, they'll hit you. And then I added other buffs that when I kill people, I would get health. And then you add just health regen to your armor. So each one is like 2%, 3%, 12% or whatever. But when you add all the buffs up, you just are almost invincible. So
always
you can
healed.
run into a crowd. And then if you're dealing with like a one-shot boss, he won't really kill you, but you'll have to use your potion, because if he hits you again before you get a chance to regen, then you'll die. You just have to keep an eye on that. But for the most part, it's like it's all health regen, and I just made myself into a tank that auto heals. So I was running through everybody. And the beauty of that is that's not playing the game on easy. That is curating your build to go and kind of run through the game however you want. I love that kind of stuff. So that's the one thing. I finished that, and then and if anyone who has played that game and beat it, I know I had to kill Lilith, but I feel like I might be Team Lilith.
He's telling you this villain arc right now on screen. Okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying, if you played it and beat it, you would understand. So there's that. So then from there, Game Awards, and I know we're going to talk about that later. But in Paris, I saw that chat. But I started Baldur's Gate 3 last night.
Okay.
Right, which is turn-based, but they do a good job at making it feel
action heavy, and yes,
at least in the beginning. Now I haven't gotten a bunch of abilities where I got to do the wheel of stuff. I'm sure that will come and it'll get more complicated. But right now, Wandering Dutch is right. Put that man on screen.
What's going on, brother, man? He came here with the slander too.
We are gonna see, and I had to choose between Remnant 2 and Baldur's Gate 3. But I started Baldur's Gate 3. We'll see how that goes, and I am considering double dip.
Lucius is calling you out. He says you are never finishing BG3.
Might be right. I'm not. It's not slander if it's true.
It's not sure. Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, by the way, I want to tell everybody right now, because there's no frauding involved here. I'm absolutely playing Baldur's Gate 3 on journalist mode. I put it on the easiest thing because it's already like 300 hours and I don't have time to be doing
I swear we need a mod that just puts journalist mode on it every time you go and it says journalist mode. Oh, that would just be.
And I apologize for nothing.
Absolutely.
I put it on the easiest mode you could.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, because the exertion that you're putting yourself through is the length of time. You shouldn't make it also difficult for yourself.
Exactly. So now hopefully I can finish it like sometime before 2025. Before Blade comes out, I expect that.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, so now this is the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
The other thing that came out this week was Sonic Dream Team. This part is for you, Paris.
Hold on. Before you move off of Diablo, Doovy, $2 super chat. Good morning, sir. He says, Diablo 4 is a great game. I'm enjoying season 2. I'm actually looking forward to finishing season 1 and getting into season 2. I'm rolling Necro. Me and my crew, we rolling deep. Wherever we go, we just murking fools left and right. There's always 15 people with me. It's a great game. Continue.
Wandering Dutch is coming for your neck right now. Let's read that.
See, there you go. See, they continue to come for us, and we will make sure that we will appreciate it and adhere to what they're saying. Wandering Dutch, 15-pound super chat. Thank you, sir. He says, get those memberships on. I know, man. I know. 2024 will have new things. I promise you. I promise you. We're gonna get our acts together. We're gonna do it. We promise you. Everborn Saga, speak on your Sonic wet dream, sir.
Okay. Whoa. Hey. So Sonic Dream Team came out. Right. And
see, it sounds the same thing. Sonic wet dream. Get it?
But we've had this conversation about mobile. And it all, it didn't start with this, but like a big inflection point people thought was Resident Evil Village on iPhone, which turned out not to be an inflection point. Although I think we in our
19 frames per second
of core gamers, we don't realize that mobile is bigger than the market that we pay attention to. And it seems like games journalists don't pay attention to mobile either.
Well, I guess my question though is, has Resident Evil come to mobile and basically like quietly become $1 million like selling product there, or
no, it hasn't.
Okay.
It hasn't like at all. And that's the question: can games like Resident Evil, forget about whether it's possible, but is that market interested in $60-$70 games on that ecosystem? But before let's throw that a question aside, right? What I was interested in is, everyone says no one wants to play game like that, traditional core games. No one wants to game like that on their phone. And what I have long contended is that it's not about whether you want a game on your phone. It is that a game like that can run on an ARM chip.
Sure.
Right?
It's possible.
Because and this is the interesting part, Sonic Dream Team is a game that does not require a lot visually. It's all going to be based on the art style, but it is also not your traditional like endless runner, play the game with one finger kind of game. The game literally requires a controller, right? And when we say mobile, what we have to understand is that the chip in the Apple TV, the little puck, it is the same chip that was in last year's standard iPhone. The A15 Bionic chip. It's the same chip in that device, that $129 device, that is also in last year's iPhone. And that will obviously get upgraded. Now, the next sort of inflection point is Apple has added native controller support to the Apple TV, this puck. The Apple TV 4K. You will play this on your TV. And when I say native, everything works as you would expect it to. The B button takes you back no matter whether you're watching a movie or playing a game. You press the Xbox button or the PlayStation Center button, and that will bring up the context menu for the whole thing, like the power menu and audio, whatever. If you press the share button, it will start recording on the device, and then you can share it directly on your phone. Right? And so this puck that is under your TV that you watch Netflix with, right? It intuitively works with these controllers. And now you add a game like Sonic Dream Team to it, which again requires a controller that works natively, and the UI really works with controllers. So this is no different than, say, an all-digital console, right? If you had more games like Resident Evil or
so just so you know, Slow-Mo Backstop is asking, Apple gaming talk, ? Rolling his eyes. I'm definitely sleeping.
Okay, I'm not. This is not about today, right? What I'm saying is, this is $129, and the same could go for a Fire TV, right? The same could go for any one of these things. But what I'm saying is, this is a $129 device. Whatever chip is in my 15 Pro Max, you could very easily make that for a $249 device. Why? There's no screen, there's no camera, there's no all that other tech that brings the price up.
Wow.
So I see you.
Wow. They are coming for you in the chat, bro.
This is fine. This is fine. Everybody is poo-pooing this, and they don't want to see the iceberg that's coming their way. Right? This is not about you losing your experience.
They're turning on you, sir.
Okay. It's not about you losing your core gaming experience. What I'm saying is those platforms are moving or are advancing faster so that they can be good enough to handle the experiences that we are used to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so again, playing Sonic Dream Team with a controller.
See, now you got Lucius the Gustus with you, you see?
Literally, this is not about Apple, though. It's not about Apple at all. And nobody wants the game on the Mac. What I'm saying is, this thing with its native controller support and easy UI, and again, the same could go for any Android-based ecosystem, right?
Of course.
The same could go for if they put these chips in your TV. What I'm saying is, those chips are becoming powerful.
I mean, to his point. To his point, people talk a lot of flowery language about what Apple is doing, but as soon as Apple released theirs, Samsung's variant was able to outdo it, right? So there's a lot of heat in that sector, just in general. The ARM architecture pushing of optimized speed thing, that sector is growing big. So it's not just Apple that would dominate. Samsung also has chip variants that are there. There are many chip variants that are ARM-based chip variants that could be very performant.
And let me land this plane, right?
Go ahead,
because
sir. Go ahead.
before everybody jumps out
before they
without a
start
parachute.
poking at you. Yes, that's right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is the reason Microsoft is pushing to create a store for mobile. It is not because they want to make 1 million Candy Crush games. It is because they know, whether it's 5, 10 years from now, whenever, that these mobile chips.
Lucius Augustus got your number. He saw you coming a mile away. He goes, watch him pivot to the Xbox OS. He had you.
I'm not pivoting to the Xbox OS. What I am pivoting to is the Xbox Store.
Okay.
Because if these devices can run the kind of games that we are used to, again, this is not about Apple. This is about these mobile things that can run on via TV that are there today and selling at the same numbers that consoles are selling.
Sure, yeah.
There are tens of millions of Apple TVs out there. There are probably 100 million Fire Sticks out there, right? So the point is, if that store is available and able to be put on those things, that will be a distribution model for where they're controlling the economics of it, and you can play these core games with the controllers that you're used to. And I'm saying it is something to think about, even though I know you guys are like vampires and mobile is like daylight to you. So I get it. So go ahead. But once again, I will say, stop sleeping on mobile. Go ahead. We can move on. Sonic Dream Team. Can you show the clip?
I can't show the clips. You know why I can't show the clips? Because you're like a heathen. Apple only puts it in their format that can't be seen by OBS. It's not a format that can be read.
Can you separately go to the DM?
I can separately go, and I can do that. But before I do that, and I will show footage, I will tell you guys about what I have been playing. And you see what I have been playing on the screen. It is very strange that I must come here and I must say this to you, but it is true. I am playing Forspoken, ladies and gentlemen. It was Forspoken, and when it was full price, but since time has gone by and there have been a lot of patches applied, and frankly, I wasn't too keen on playing it after hearing all the stuff I'd heard about it and actually playing the demo, because I'd played the demo for a while. It was on sale for $17 or whatever, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I don't hate it. I don't. I like the pivot. I like the traversal system. The story so far, after the ridiculous back and forth banter between the cuff and the protagonist, that is a little ridiculous still. But beyond the ridiculous, cutscenes, the game traversal wise is fun. I like the mechanics a little bit. I like the way the magic and changing between them. It's so far so good. I actually thought it's pretty cool. And actually the main reason why I wanted to try it was because this was the first game that had direct storage from the on the Windows 11 side. So I wanted to see how well this would work. I see the brother Neo Mental's in the house. What's going on, sir? Oh, he says he's been playing. He's actually liking it as well. Look at that. So there you go. Serendipitous. There you go. I just started playing it. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. That some of the language is cringe. It is. It just is. I know it is. But the traversal system's cool. Some of the side characters are interesting. It looks like this was going for something. It just didn't quite land the plane, and it was broken at launch. So much so that it got completely. It got ridiculed in the press and all of that. Right. But I got to tell you, on the old A1 Pro, it plays pretty great. And then it scales really well when you're playing it on the really big machine. I am enjoying it so far. Everborn Saga at $17. Is this a game you would think about playing?
$17 too much.
$17 too much, he says. Oh boy.
I did want to say something, and let me know when you're done, because I want to come back. It's just the point that I forgot to make on the last thing. It's not going to be about mobile, but it will be about the Dream Team game, because I don't feel like I talked about that to people.
Well, all right. So you really must, if we must see Sonic Dream Team, let's transition real quick and get us to the screen here where I have put Sonic Dream Team in the chat, in the thing, and we will just see some of these folks play this game, right? I'll keep the sound off, and hopefully, you can tell me how great or not great this is. Sonic Dream Team. Go ahead, tell me.
So I don't know what you're showing on the screen, but that's not.
This. I'm gonna start from where it begins. So right about here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
So the thing is, it really plays like the Sonic game a lot of people had been asking for. So it takes it's closer to Sonic Adventure than it is to Sonic Frontiers.
Sure, yeah.
And I would even bring it closer to Sonic Lost World in terms of the level design and the things they want you to do. And it's very interesting because each level has multiple paths, and depending on the character that you play with, you can play the level differently.
Yo, I am sorry. But your boy is just coming for you on this last show. Mr. Slow-Mo Backstab saying Everborn is intending to torture y'all the last show of the year.
Okay, hey, it's the last one. I gotta get my Sonic.
Oh my god. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
We just had to listen to Forspoken. We can talk about Sonic
for a minute. I tried it for a minute and I moved forward.
I just need 30 seconds. No, the level design is super interesting. The more you play it, the more complex it is. The challenges they give you, the verticality of it. And again, it's not like I'm playing this on the TV in 4K, right? And yes, I can take it and play with the backbone on my phone, which actually has better performance than the TV because it's a newer chip.
Yep.
But I'm playing this on the TV as though it's a console game, right? And I am telling you, if you have an iPhone, you must at least check this out. You will be surprised because this is not what you would consider. And if you were not a fan of Sonic Frontiers because it strayed away from the Sonic Adventures formula that you may have liked, this is your game, right? It's not open world. They're predefined levels. The level design is super interesting, and they do a lot of fun things with the challenges. I'm telling you, play this with a controller. You will not be disappointed. I will move on from this, and you have to unlock the different characters, and then you can go back to the levels and play it differently because you're, say, playing with Knuckles or Tails, right?
Okay.
There's speed challenges. There's all these. There's things you have to find. It's very interesting, the layout. Look at this. Does this not look? If I told you this was on the Switch, would you be surprised?
I mean, no. That is true. That is true. It is just surprising that they chose to go straight up Apple TV with what do you call it? Apple Arcade with it, because you can see that this would have felt at home on the Switch, right?
But see, here's the thing. We think that we're the end all be all. How many total unique downloads has Sonic had across console and mobile, right? Console, PC, and mobile.
So you think Sega sees the Apple TV as more of an audience than the Switch?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait a minute. 1.66 billion total downloads and purchases, right? How many of that 1.66 billion do you think were on console?
True. That is true. Yeah.
Right? And again, Apple Arcade has 100 million subscribers.
So what you're saying is Sega will be bought by Apple before they'll be bought by Microsoft.
Now watch your mouth. Watch your goddamn mouth. Sir.
You see what you just did there? You walk right backwards into that. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen.
So again, it makes sense that they put a lot of eggs into this basket because they really have been able to connect with that mobile audience more than the console audience. And they are one of the first people to make a fully fleshed out core gamer style game in mobile like this. There are a lot of others, but this is traditionally what you would think of. There's none of the mobile tropes in this. There's not a million microtransactions. There's no microtransactions actually, as far as I know so far.
Well, because it's Apple Arcade, they would not put they won't allow microtransactions in Apple Arcade.
So this is literally a traditional game, and they
have none of the games in Apple Arcade have microtransactions. That's one of the stipulations of the subscription model. You get the chance to play the game without having to worry about the microtransactions. So
they're sending me the Game Awards wrap it up music.
Yes, they are. They're definitely sending. You see what's going on. You see what's going on. So okay, ladies and gentlemen, I say thank you for dealing for dealing with Everborn Saga's last live show of the year, Sonic Rant, which, let's be honest, he actually has another one to go, because we're going to talk about the one in the Game Awards, but that's neither here nor there. I will say, if you're in the chat, you're liking the show so far, please hit the like button. Please consider subscribing if you haven't done so yet. We will be doing a lot more craziness. Even though this is the last live show of the year, we do have 2 more shows that we will put in this feed before the end of this year. One being a spoiler talk for Starfield, and I'm hoping to have a bunch of great community members join us on that show, where we talk basically, our experiences and how we feel about it, and all the various weirdness that happens. Because if you've been there, if you've had, if you've gone through the cycle of in that game, some oddities happen. No spoilers. So everyone's experience seems to be a little different than others. So we want to talk about that. But we'll do that, and we'll also have one more where we talk about some things that are going to change for 2024. We'll talk about, as Mr. Wandering Dutch came here and so eloquently put it, turning on the memberships, as people have been asking us to do, and a few other things that we're thinking about doing next year. So we'll have a show and discuss that real quick. But all right, so let's move on, Everborn Saga. Let's get back to the news proper. But I want to talk first and foremost, maybe just a PSA, because
wait. Speaking of PSAs, before we get going,
please,
we need to talk about this.
Oh yeah, this man. Let us talk about it. So on my birthday, which is far more important than the other thing that happens that day, we will be giving away that there old PS. I was about to say PS5.
PS. Whoa, watch your mouth.
Yeah, I was about to say. They're gonna come for me. We'll be giving away that Xbox Series X. Actually, what you don't know. Well, we'll talk about that for a minute. But what you don't know, Everborn Saga, and I gotta put it out there in the community. There is a gentleman, and I won't put him out there because I don't know. I still need to discuss it with him in the DMs and make sure how we do it logistically. But there's a gentleman in the community who also has a brand new, in the box, sealed, unopened X screen that he wants to add to our pot as part of the giveaway. So we have to logistically work that out, but the man is ready to donate an X screen, brand new in the box, to anybody who, of course, has a Series S, who maybe want to take it on the go. So that's another one that we will logistically have to work out. Go ahead, you were going to say, sir.
I was saying the way this whole thing came about was that $349 deal for the Series X. I impulse picked it up because I was like, oh, I need another one for the living room. I have 2 right now, right? I have one in my bedroom and one in my office here where we're podcasting. And the one in my office was the one in my living room. So I said, let me get one more. But I didn't really need it. And I'm like, Everborn Frivolous
Spending Saga.
So
rears his ugly head.
You pay it forward to the GCP community, and we'll do the giveaway. So that's how this came about. It was that $349 slip up. So
we're being asked in the chat there how you can join this giveaway. You must be following myself and Mr. Everborn Saga on x.com/twitter.com, and you must be a member of this, a subscriber of this here channel, And on the 25th, Everborn, I was actually gonna ask you what you thought about this. Maybe we can do this live. We'll hold the spaces on the old X on my birthday, and we'll do the pickings live in the spaces.
We'll see.
And then we'll announce it.
We'll see. Everybody's gonna be with their family. I want to announce it. We'll talk about that offline, how we'll give it away. But yeah. I definitely want us both to announce it on X.
Yeah.
And then we'll connect with the person. And shout out to Oscar Osorio, who says our content is so boring that he decided to comment on it twice.
I appreciate that, brother. Anyway. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, so so we're gonna not. I don't know if we'll do the spaces, but we'll definitely announce it on the 25th that day.
Yeah, we'll let people know. And it's global. We'll figure it out. It's all good. So there you go. All right, so let's move on to some of the news proper, because I think it's worth talking about before we get to what we really want to talk about, which is all the stuff that happened at the Game Awards. But before we get there, I want a PSA. I guess this is kind of a PSA for people. ID and Xbox holding over 30 plus demos. Have you checked any of this out? I feel like because there's so much bombarding news happening and all the stuff happening, this will kind of come and go and nobody will even kind of give it any attention. Have you seen any of it? Have you downloaded any of these demos yet?
I didn't even know this was a thing.
This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm telling people, and I'm sure many may be, your boring onesie twosie games that you may not be interested in. But out of these things, and every year that this thing happens, you find your gem that eventually becomes that indie darling. So if you have a chance to, go check it out. There's some really cool AAA looking stuff among the mix of indies. And some of them that are really, really well done. So this is just to let you know, happen to go down there, check out some of the demos and let us know if you like them. If you have checked out some of these demos, put them in the chat and let us know, because I have not tried it myself yet either. I just heard that this is coming about and I figured, hey, why not? Let's talk about it, right? So, okay, Everborn Saga, I know you want to talk about the Game Awards and all the various moving and shaking and the pluses and minuses that happened there. So we can go ahead and just
you mean the trailer awards?
The trailer awards, yes, the trailer awards. So
yes,
do you want to start there? Shall we? Do you want to focus on the awards or give it short shrift, the awards as they did, or do you want to just start on the trailers themselves? Where you want to start?
I mean, I don't think there were any real surprises with the awards.
Okay, so
to speak, because
again,
this I watched this show for the trailers. I feel like that's
of course.
Does.
Baldur's Gate 3 won. People know that, right?
Who wins what is everyone said Baldur's Gate was going to win everything, right?
Yeah. Although I was close to being right, because Alan Wake 2 almost swept this award after award after award, and then a Baldur's Gate just kind of snuck in there. They were getting in there, right? They were almost.
Alan Wake had 3 awards, and Baldur's Gate had 6.
Had 6? Oh yeah. Well, then I'm completely lost. I lost.
What do you mean, man? And I told you, Alan Wake is recency bias, man. It's the latest thing that came out before the war.
See, I don't know, man. I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. I still think you're wrong.
Okay, I don't think 3 months from now anybody's going to be talking about Alan Wake.
Really? That? Wow. Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right. So then let's get to what's more important, which is all the trailers and stuff that dropped. Go ahead.
Well, what's also interesting? And I want to have this is not like a conversation, but I feel like if we're going to have at least some kind of integrity unlike some other places, we should have this discussion.
Okay.
So when the Game Awards conversation came up, we called Keighley. When I say we, I mean y'all. Not me.
He said y'all.
We called Keighley everything but a child of God. Right. Yep. We said the fight was fixed.
Yep.
We said let's boycott the Game Awards. We said all these things, right? We said, oh, it's just a Sony show. Sony did not win a
It's a
single
pony show, ladies and gentlemen.
unless you count the adaptation for
Uh-huh.
what do you call it? And I would give that more to HBO, right?
Okay.
The only other award was something that wasn't their game, but they were published. It was an indie game developer who couldn't make it, so Shu accepted the award.
Yep.
Spider-Man was nominated for 7 awards, won 0.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're counting out the publishers that won, Xbox won 3, which is 1 for Hi-Fi Rush and 2 for Motorsport.
Okay.
Sony won 0. So
So are you saying that is this your way of saying the Xbox tax doesn't exist? Is that what you're saying right now?
That's not my way of saying it. I'm saying I need to hear the logical explanation around this. Right?
Okay.
Because my definition of that Xbox tax is very different than the way people were talking about it, like it had anything to do with the Game Awards or Metacritic. That wasn't really my issue.
Yeah.
My explanation of the tax is that a lot of people just don't like Xbox fans celebrating, and a lot of people are not in the Xbox ecosystem, and so it's a second thought to them when they talk about it. And then when they get corrected, they start to get all indignant just because people corrected them on things that they said were false. So that's my definition of it. But the problem with that, and this is not to make it about the Xbox tax, but if people were slandering the Game Awards, what say you now?
What say you now, gentlemen? That's what he's asking.
And Xbox actually won more awards than Sony.
Sure.
That's what I need to. That's what I need to for people to. That's not even a question for you. That's really just for for the audience.
And I'm not taking that as a question for me because as you know, since this whole conversation started, I just called this whole thing.
Achilles' neck, though.
What did I tell you? I said this is bad marketing, and my being on Keely's neck still stands. Like where I had a problem, I still have a problem. Where is Hogwarts in this? Cowardly. Come on now. I still think that, right? But that's not the problem at hand. That's not what we're discussing here. So that has nothing to do with me. When this was discussed even back on Boom Show, where they were talking about, well, Xbox this, Xbox that, I was like, leave Xbox out of it. Because anytime you talk about Xbox versus PlayStation, then it becomes a sports match and which team won, which team lost. And that's not a fundamental problem. That's just your team not winning or whatever, right? That's not the issue I have. The issue I have is there's certain short shrift that's given to the actual thing you say you're there for. And I'm not wrong in that, and we'll get further into it because there are people beyond me who said that here. Like what was it? Let me see. Actually, real quick. Well, let me bring it up. There you go. Insider Gaming calling Jeff Keighley a coward for the Game Awards because he did not address anything in the room that had anything of substance. You say you're there to address the power that is the game, the game making public, right? They have all these layoffs. You don't address it, right? All these things happen. It's
okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Those are my issues. Those have nothing to do with the Xbox versus PlayStation stuff.
The thing about that is, I find that very. I find that interesting that Insider Gaming would say that. Right?
Sure.
So let's have some real talk for
real
it,
talk. Let's go. All right, let's go.
And maybe I won't make any friends from this.
Okay. Well, hold on. Before you get the virtual tomatoes thrown at you, Jax82, $2 super chat. Thank you for being here, sir. He says, I like the trailers more than the awards at the TGAs. I think that's where we all are at this point. Yeah, that's where we all are. Yeah, go ahead.
Who runs Insider Game?
This will be Tom Henderson.
Okay. So shout out to Tom Henderson.
Yes, sir.
But I remember a little thing of back and forth between when Paris said it sucks for people to leak stuff.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then Tom Henderson got a little bit indignant to say like this is the trade, don't act like that's not what it is, and there was a little back and forth there. Yes. But now now we're getting, so how dare Paris take that moral high ground, was basically his argument.
Yep.
And now he's here taking a moral high ground
Himself. Yes, I get you. I get you. I get you.
Right?
Yes.
When the whole awards, listen, we don't watch the DICE Awards, right? We hear about some stuff on Twitter. Most of us don't watch it.
See, while I don't hate, and I'll let you continue your point. While I don't hate what you're saying, while you're not wrong in what you're saying, all I will say though is the message is sound, even if the messenger isn't. But continue, sir.
So a lot of us don't watch the DICE Awards, even though that's the one that does what we want it to do, which is it is for the developers, by the developers, actually honoring the craft itself. The Game Awards is a marketing event.
It's a dog and pony show.
Right? And it is the only reain.
And I don't mean that the way you think I do. Views. Sorry, I don't mean it like that.
I mean it the way you know.
I caught myself after that. I'm sorry. Continue.
The only reason so many people watch the Game Awards is because it's a marketing event and they want to see these trailers, right? So you think that Jeff Keighley, who has all these partners, who is literally working with these people, you think that he's gonna come up and tell him, hey, do all these world premiere trailers, but you also ain't crap, right? Like, that's not what this event is. And everybody's tuning into it knowing they're tuning into it for the trailers, and then you're getting mad when the person working with them is not saying anything against them. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, it doesn't logically track, and
it doesn't compute.
Weird moral high ground to take. But it's easy to do that, right?
Chair
all
Walker,
you have to do is write an article.
$5 super chat. Thank you, brother. Always so prolific with his takes and also always giving great information. Chair Walker says, Everborn, as long as you keep repping Sonic, you will always have a friend. No matter what else anybody.
He doesn't agree with anything I just said. He's just like, I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate
you see, as long as you rep Sonic, he got your back, even though all your other takes seem to be lacking.
Hey,
thank you for being here, Jay. Appreciate you, man.
I'm just saying how I feel about it.
But brother, you have every right to feel that way. Absolutely. You know, I am on the side of, I want this thing to have some integrity, even if you don't like which sports team of it.
Wait a minute. Slow-mo says no, he tunes in for the ads. The whole show is an ad.
The whole show is an ad. That's right.
But an ad.
The whole show is an ad. Absolutely. Later. But you know what? Speaking of the ads, let's focus a bit on them ads, because there's I'm pulling some stuff from online about, you know, some of the best ads, some of the best trailers that came out. It was very trailer heavy, and I'll be honest with you, on that front, I think he outdid himself. I think this had E3 level, you know, this wasn't table scraps level stuff. He had some real heavy hitters on there this time. Let's talk about it. What did you think of this? First off, this
OD should not be on the list of best trailers. I'm gonna say this right now. Let me also make some not friends right now.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think OD is gonna be the next Scalebound.
Oh,
not
Lord.
That I don't think it will. Not that I don't think it will come out.
He is coming with bullets, man. What are you doing?
They went full Kojima on this thing, right? And as our brother Slobo says,
never go full Kojima. Oh
no. Now the thing is this. I think that because every time he talks about it, Kojima has to reassure his fans that yes, I'm still working with Sony on Death Stranding 2, right? They are taking Microsoft's money, doing these photo ops so they can develop tech for whatever other games they're working on. They're pulling a platinum con job on them, and it's gonna blow up in Microsoft's face.
Oh Lord, he said he went full Kojima. Oh no.
I am telling you, this partnership is not gonna work out. I'm saying it now. And mark my words, take your receipts down. This is gonna crash and burn. It's gonna come out. I'm not saying it's gonna be canceled like Diablo. but I don't think.
So that's the reason the girl cried is because she's seeing the money, Microsoft's money, leave out the door. Is that what's happening right now?
Hey man. Oh, okay. There's another thing I need to talk about. Again, I'm on fire today. I don't care.
Well, go ahead, man. It's the end of the year. Do your thing, bro.
Listen, Jeff Keighley takes the minute to
Speak on that.
Shout out
Yep.
Mark Cerny and everybody else in the crowd. Right? Everybody there. Now, Sarah.
No. Stop. Get on cam for this one, bro. Get on cam for this one.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Come on, let's go.
They took the time to shout out everybody and their mother in that was in the audience. Mark Cerny, Shuhei, whoever else got the shout out. Right?
Yep.
Even Todd Howard and all that got a shout out. Sarah Bond is in there, and this is her inaugural Game Awards as the CEO of Xbox. We know she's there. I saw the picture she took with people, right? And they blessed you with all of these world premiere trailers. These are the things that people are still talking about the show for, and no shout out to the new head of Xbox Game Studios. No shout out to the Xbox CEO, the black woman. See, all the other white dudes got a shout out.
These are the moments when you do if we had the Kofi, it would come on and we'd look at you like this.
When Phil came there last year and he had no games, they took the moment to shout it out, put the camera in his face with him not smiling. You got all the games this year, and Sarah Bond, nothing. Not even an acknowledgement. Make it make sense, Kay. Somebody make it make sense. That's all I'm asking.
Now he brought this to my attention, like I think it was yesterday, and I was just like, and that's all I had to say.
The new head of Xbox is there, and they brought the heat. The reason people are saying the show is fire because of the stuff Xbox showed. That's a fact.
True, that is a fact. That is a fact.
It wasn't because of the Final
They
Fantasy
created that.
DLC.
They created that scenario to make that show as bangerific as you will as it was. Yes, but they did not acknowledge the new queen.
And whoever's mad, I'm not sorry.
True. Now, of course, Neo Mental asking the pertinent question, the very pertinent question. I mean, why are you surprised, sir?
Oh, I'm not. I'm just somebody had to say it.
Somebody had to note that. We had to put a pin in that one real quick.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I do hear you on that,
it's
man.
Not just hardware. It's the head of hardware and software and content.
Yeah, she's basically the head of Xbox at this point.
He runs Xbox.
Yes. Okay, so having put a pin in that, because that needed to be notated, I do agree with you. My question to you, sir, is beyond the blade, and that'll get its own little. We'll talk about that. You want to talk about Sonic right now? About the Sega trailer right now? Do you want me to bring that up? Or do you want to talk about the others first?
If you can, no, bring that up, and then I've been talking for a while, and my voice is starting to hurt. So you will go and start to talk about some of the other things.
Okay.
While I rest my voice a little bit.
Okay. So
let's talk about Sonic.
What I will say before we start this, I want to challenge anyone and everyone to look at this and tell me at the end that this was not a trailer that someone specifically went to hunt down a lookalike of the one Everborn saga in the trailer. Doesn't look exactly like him, but at the end, I'm just like, come on, they're just trolling him at this point. Now, I'm not putting any sound on there because last time we put sound, we got our hands slapped a little, so we won't be doing that. But go ahead, Everborn, tell me. And well, okay, let him rest his voice, because this is a victory lap that I need to give him, because clearly we have talked about this at length. We've talked about it over and over and over again. And when we talk about it, what do we say? We say things like, oh, they need to pay all of their old IPs newly found respect. right? There are new ways of getting those old IPs to shine. They need to do that. We need to see that remake of Jet Set Radio Future. Oh boy. Look at Professor. Oh my God. We need to see some of these games done. Beats of Rage. Exactly. Done in new style, new flair. Look at that. Oh my God. Golden Axe. Talk about your new energy. Even Crazy Taxi. Look at Crazy Taxi. Like, it is something else, right? They are doing, and then they have the Ed Moore. And now I want to know what the heck Ed Moore means.
There are right now. They said it. They're looking at Virtua Fighter and how they took a shot at Street Fighter, saying they don't have all the exciting moves as Street Fighter because it's more realistic. That was my face when while I was watching this trailer. And so I thought when they were, because they sent it to like a lot of fighting people, like the fighting game community, the note that they were going to show up at the Game Awards. And I thought it was just Virtua Fighter 6. I had no idea it was all of this. And again, in their financial reports, they have long said they want to look at their old IPs, but that was like an aspirational thing. I didn't know they had these 5 games plus more already in development, right?
Ninja Squirrel with a fire idea. He said Shadow Dancer would be a reboot. Do you know how many times I've played? I played that on many a device. I love that game. Shadow Dancer, one of my favorite. Amazing. Yes, absolutely. And oh boy, by the way, Victor Alistine. Yes, am I wrong? Victor says he really does look like Alpha Saka. You see what I'm saying? Look at that. It's exactly. It looks like they read all his letters. They said, all right, well, let's give it to him. Let's give him one that he can gloat about on the podcast. And oh, by the way, just to put a pin in it, let's get an actor that looks exactly like him in the trailer.
So let's talk about one more thing. So Gene Park from the Washington Post did an interview with this new Sega of America CEO, right? This is Shuji Utsumi, right? And some of the bullet points there was Sega wants to return to its rebellious energy of the Dreamcast era. That's what the new energy branding was about. He also confirms that the original creators are involved in Jet Set Radio reboot.
Oh man.
Says even more revivals are being planned. On Virtua Fighter, he says we are evaluating right now. Virtua Fighter doesn't use so many tricks and special moves like in Street Fighter. That was a jab. It's very realistic. How can we make it more dramatic? It's something we're working on. He also credits Sonic. You heard that? Yakuza and Persona for keeping Sega afloat. Right? And another thing to point out is a lot of what you're seeing happen with Sega right now is a result of the new the head CEO in Japan that took over from his father, right? At that time, the father, and I can't remember his name right now. I'll look it up before we get off air today. But he was kind of running the company. He was getting old, and they were just kind of doing anything with the brand. But the new guy comes along, and he realizes that Sega is sitting on a treasure trove of IPs, and he's young and he's trying these deals. And it was his idea to push into Hollywood with the Sonic movies, which have been very successful for the company. And that is why a Streets of Rage movie has been greenlit from the producers of John Wick, if you didn't know that, right? And then it's also the push into mobile harder, because he realized what they were doing there, but they weren't making any of the games. They were licensing them out. Now they're bringing all that in-house, and Dream Team is one of the ones that's an example of that. And that's what the Rovio purchase was about as well. So it's actually in-house. Dream Team was built by Hardlight Studio, Sega Hardlight. And we're going to see more of this. And I really think Sega is on this renaissance move that like we saw Capcom get on. And it's super interesting to see them find their lane by acknowledging their heritage and all the fans, what all the fans remember them for.
So, Mr.
I think we're about to see.
real quick, while you're regaling us with such intelligent information, Victor Allenstein's here with a $2 super chat, and he's saying he's paying his $2 to ask you to dance, monkey, dance. Everborn Saga, could you say Sega with that same expression?
I could, but not today because I'm little, you know. So
I owe you. Put a pin in now.
so this is the but I will.
He will. He will.
But no, it deserves it. This trailer deserves it.
Absolutely.
But this is literally exactly what I had been calling for. This was my dream list of things to greenlight, and not only did they greenlight them, they already have working enough to show from this trailer. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That and honestly, this is what I thought they would have needed a Microsoft acquisition to do, because
this is my point.
We all knew that they should have done this, but we figured they didn't do it because they didn't have the money.
So that was my question that I brought to your attention, sir. See, Mr. Everborn Saga has always been on the topic of, hey, you need Sega on his knees, because then Papa Microsoft will come and save them and then use the money they need to then revive the IPs like he wants. It looks like Sega pulled off I'm not going to the gym to go get myself right for nobody. I'm doing this my damn self, and they are doing it themselves. Now, much like Capcom back in those days, where they were on their knees and it took Papa PlayStation to save them from making Street Fighter V.
And Microsoft almost.
And now, in between that time now, they've had a revival. They've done a reboot after reboot, and it's hit stride after stride. They're in the VR space. They are making all the monies with their VR version of Resident Evil 4. In the gaming space, they're doing the same thing with their remake, right, of that. Now, nobody's going to easily be able to come and sweep up Capcom anymore, because they're no longer easily swayed. Are we saying that with Sega on the cusp of following suit, they will no longer be easily swayed? The only people that they are talking to is Apple, of all people.
Okay, but that's not true, right? And let me explain why.
Because Super Game is still out here.
One could argue that all of this is happening on Microsoft's dime, right?
True.
So
they're using Microsoft tech.
Game partnership.
Yes.
We know that Microsoft is paying for marketing on all their games, Persona, Yakuza, whatever.
Yep.
Right. We know that. And to the extent that Sonic is not like marketed by no one has the Sonic marketing. If you notice that, it's Nintendo doesn't have it, Sony doesn't have it, and all of their games.
The question is, does anybody want it? Because if somebody wanted it, they would have paid for it, right?
All of their games.
That's just slander on my part. I'm sorry.
Sure it is. All their games get announced with Xbox branding. That's a fact. Every Yakuza and Persona game
gets Xbox. Yeah. True. They do have that. Yes.
They have constantly in their financial reports credited Game Pass for adding to their coffers.
Yes, they
right.
have, yep.
So it is that money and the tech that they're getting from Microsoft and the Super Game that they're betting the company on. They're not really betting the company on it, but they're spending a lot of money on it. All of that is on the backs of Microsoft's dime. So I think that success that they've seen from the sustained Game Pass revenue and the marketing money that they're getting from Microsoft is what's paying for these things.
JD Gamer, $10 super chat. Thank you for being here, brother. He says, I love the return of Sega. I see the drop of all of this IP at one time as a really huge, we are ready to be bought by a commercial like Bethesda did a few years back. I still love them though. Go get them, Microsoft.
Hey,
Microsoft. The question is, do they want to be purchased after all of these successes?
Whether they want to be purchased or not, they're doing everything that I wanted them to do. The only thing we don't have is that AAA Sonic game. That's the last checklist. True. But that could be happening. So we'll see.
So okay, let's refocus back on the screen here, because I wanted to talk about this. Now you gave this a little bit of short shrift. This whole OD
I'm not
trailer.
interested in that at all.
Yeah,
but I'll let you.
But I will. But you know what? But no. Hold on. Let me thread the needle a little bit here, because people are talking about this, right? And they're not connecting. If you're looking at the gentleman on the screen, he happens to be one of the mid bosses of the first Blade movie. Do you remember? I don't know if you recall, but if you watch,
he's been in a lot of other stuff.
He's been in a lot of other stuff.
I think this is MetaHuman doing this.
They're using MetaHuman as a backdrop for OD. Yes, that is part of this as well. But it was a very interesting little tidbit they showed off. A lot of people were super excited and super interested in it. I don't know, man. You thought it was what, a weak showing? I don't know, because it's just a couple of heads you wanted to see.
What exactly did they show?
They're showing you the technology they're using.
Okay. I'm gonna stop you right there. I don't need anybody who has been clamoring for combat from Hellblade 2 to tell me that this is anything worth watching.
Well, no. See, now that is no. That right there is being unfair, okay? Because the first half of the marketing campaign, people were riveted by all that stuff. It just took a while to see the combat. That's why it turned into that. People didn't start there. This is their start of their campaign. They are allowed to give you some imagery before we get down the line of some meat on the bone. Don't compare the two. You can't compare the two. You can't compare the two. I'm just saying, let's just be fair here. You can't compare the two because what do you call it? Hellblade 2 was allowed their abstract period for a while. No one was complaining about.
No, it wasn't abstract. They had backgrounds. Right? Sure. This is literally it's not a blue screen.
And let me be clear, I'm not a Kojima guy. I'm just saying let's see what he's doing, right? Because let me be honest. Although it's not a game that I love, I found it interesting. I didn't love it. I was surprised that Death Stranding came together as quickly as it did, because everybody was convinced that was going to be an abstract experiment.
Death Stranding had backgrounds in the trailer.
It eventually, it came together quickly, right? It came together. It went from, oh, what is this going to be with people bleeding tar from their noses to, hey, it's a game. Seemingly overnight, when all he was showing was weird gobbledygook of imagery, right? And it came together. So because of that, while I agree with you that they're not showing much here, I do agree. I do think that we need to give him a little time to go through his marketing process. And Mr. John Wolf, $2 super chat, he says, but John, have a great weekend, guys. Thank you, sir.
All the time he wants, but I am not going to pay any attention until it turns into something. Ready to show something.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he needs to hurry up. I'm not saying this game needs to come out next year. I'm saying don't expect me to be excited by anything that I've seen there because they haven't showed me anything. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. See. Oh, look.
And Pixel says that we know it's a movie, right? He says it's not a movie. He says it's definitely a game.
It's a game with movie elements. That's a different way of gameplay.
So no different than a certain. You know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna
stop the cap, sir. Raymond Morel, $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. See, we're connecting it. He says, fun fact, Guillermo del Toro directed Blade 2, and he helped with the PT demo, which Kojima hinted at coming out of the PT door. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
I'm just picturing the yawn with the cork board.
That's right. We call that the murder board. So, okay, you were telling me,
AKA the most boring part about Alan Wake 2. But go ahead. Wow,
he is here for that slander today. You were telling me about this game, right? And I saw the trailer for it, the Tales of Gazera, of Kinzera. What did you think? Like, it took me by storm, right? The imagery was cool. Obviously, it evokes African sensibilities.
It's Ori mixed with the Black Panther movie.
It's Ori mixed with Black Panther. Yep. Like, I mean, is this something we expect to see more of? Like, I thought it was cool. Like, I oddly enough, I expect to see more of this from Xbox than anywhere else, since they've put a lot of lip service to going out and trying to find more African developers. So it's really cool to see it on stage here. That wasn't necessarily their doing. What did you think of it?
I thought this was amazing. This is a day zero purchase as soon as I'm
So
able to buy
let's
this.
check this out.
But if you
Mhm.
look at this, like
EA Origins.
it looks very, very good,
Mhm.
right? And again, I said this to you offline. This is me looking inward now. Every time one of these 2D platformers come out, I just realize I should have released my game like 5 years ago, because I there's so many things that there's so much competition. There's a lot of stuff that I was doing that was new, and then these guys are far surpassing what I'm working on. So I got to step my game up, and I love seeing something that makes me say, now you got to step your game up. This looks really good.
Yeah. Graphically, it shines.
It looks it looks it seems like it's Metroidvania-ish.
Yeah.
This is really good, and you see progressively he's getting these powers. Like I love all this, man. This is like take my money today. And again, this is the beauty of it. There's so many other cultures, African, Indian, whatever, even with Wolong. Like we need more all of this showcasing these things, because you know, I and forget about all of that. Like it just looks dope. Right.
And Lucius Augustus says you can buy it right now on Xbox and wishlist it on you can do it right now. Yeah.
Done.
Indeed, right? Heck yeah, I'm there, you know. So yes, we're gonna do that. This is great, man. I love that we're seeing a lot of these. Yeah.
Prince of Persia looks great too.
Yeah, the Prince of Persia that came out was also another, like, you're just like, wow, they're really pushing the envelope on some of this, some of the imagery and the graphics and the expression. They're really doing it.
Can we talk about how 2D platformers are eating right now?
Yes. Those. Yep. Because if you think about it, it makes sense, right? It does make sense. If you keep pushing in the 3D like realistic realm, like you get debilitated by the limitations in hardware, right? Not everyone has the biggest, most bombastic piece of hardware, so you're limiting your audience. But right now, most people have capable mid-range hardware, even if it's a phone, right? They have capable stuff that can do a lot of interesting things. So you add new school flair to old school ideas that don't have too much overhead, and here you go. Everyone can look like Ori and the Will of the Wisp these days, right? Like they're really taking it there. And speaking of that, you saw the trailer that Ori put out, right? The Ori developer put out, right?
Oh yeah,
man, I was just like, yo, these guys know what they're doing. Like, what are we doing here? Oh, okay, but there's more. Before we even get there, Lost Record. What did you think of Lost Record? Like, these are the same. I think, isn't this the Don't Nod developer? Am I wrong? Hold on, was it Don't Nod? Yeah, this is Don't Nod.
I didn't pay a lot of attention to this trailer. I think
they serve a certain purpose.
Hey, Lucius Augustus, do you have the link to Steam?
Yeah, I might want to buy that on Steam. Yeah, I want to play that. I want to play that on.
I feel like, because right now it's like discounted to $17.99. Right?
Yeah.
I am wondering, and I'm just gonna buy it in both places, but I want to play it. I think I want to play this on the Steam Deck, and if one day Xbox gets their acts together and makes a handheld, I'll play it there too. But this is something I want to play on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, it seems, and 2D platformers just seem to feel best on these kind of handheld devices. Am I wrong? At like 1, they just give you more of a thing. You can get right up in it. It's great, you know. So yeah, these are definitely the games that shine best on that. But yeah, this game looks great. Like it seems that more and more protagonists are becoming varied. I'm liking what they're doing there. And then of course, this is just a smattering of trailers and stuff. Then of course, shall we talk about Blade real quick? Can we talk about Blade real quick? It's in the list here.
Are we there yet? Because I feel like that's a whole conversation.
It's a whole conversation. Okay, let's skip it for now. We'll get back to it. We'll get back to it. So, Den of Wolves. Did you see Den of Wolves?
See, fun fact, before we get to Den of Wolves, Raised by Wolves, the guy that came out on stage was the father. That was his name, the character he was in.
That made
in the show Raised by Wolves. And he made
this game. That's right. Yes, absolutely. Yes. But so it looks like there are lots of very super interesting, even 3D multiplayer games coming out that people are shooting their shot now, right? They're no longer content with Fortnite seemingly taking everything over. This is the dev that did the GTFO game. I think it's Chamber 10 or 10 Chambers, and they're doing Den of Wolves. It looks cool. Will I play it? Probably not, because it's multiplayer focused, and and by the way, speaking of multiplayer focus, did you hear that that's basically where Halo is now? After the interview, they're no longer doing campaigns with Infinite, which just it's just take my heart out, stomp on it, and just go ding 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 ding, and then walk off.
Okay, let me just
go ahead.
A little bit on the Halo note, and we'll come back to the
game.
Yeah. First of all, shout out to Paris.
Shout out to Paris for a great interview. Yes, it was great.
The questions that other people are afraid to ask. I don't know why. No, it took everybody so long to ask that question. So shout out to Paris on that. But
absolutely.
I just for a little bit of like, there will be more Halo campaigns, but it won't be a part of Halo Infinite.
No, yeah, they've moved on. They're moving on to a different platform, which is terrible.
Yeah, I do not think we are going to get another Halo. Halo is a once a generation thing at this point, right?
Which, like, I wish someone would explain to me why Infinite has to be that way, because you could have done that here. I don't understand why you can't do that here. It just makes no sense to me.
People this is the weird thing. Everybody loved the campaign. Literally, it got an 87. Critics loved it.
I'm asking for more in the same world. That's all I'm asking. Give me more in that world. That's it.
The issue with Halo was the multiplayer. The issue was not the campaign.
Yeah.
So your answer is to throw away the campaign.
Yeah, and just give us only multiplayer. It's almost like we are incapable of walking and chewing gum at the same time. So if you want us to focus on the multiplayer and make it better, then we have to throw away what worked, which is the campaign, in order to then focus our energy on the multiplayer. Like, makes just no sense to me whatsoever. But
again, we got Halo 5, then we got Halo Infinite. That was one in each generation.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be till Gen 10 where we get the next Halo, because they are hiring, they are working on it. This is not like Halo's
and then my question becomes, why should I trust you then? Another great campaign will release, and then you'll throw it again away until another gen. You will never capitalize on what you build. You'll always keep rebuilding.
Right. And here's the real question. Because this is a problem. It's been a problem since Halo 5. I actually did not have an issue with the Halo 5 campaign once I got around to marketing being disjointed from what you actually got. The campaign itself, in my opinion, was very good, right?
Okay.
But it ended on a cliffhanger, and they never followed
it. Exactly.
And everything happens off screen, and then you get to Infinite, and they do the same thing again.
Same thing. This is my point. You never finish what you start. You always leave your fans hanging, right? And then you expect us to trust you again on the next one, where you'll leave us hanging and then never finish. And it's just too much. It's ridiculous.
They don't. Lucius Augustus is correct. 343 never finishes their stories, and so every game, every campaign feels unfinished.
Yep.
So then the next one's gonna come out, and they're gonna jump forward. We're not gonna know what happened with this, and they just refuse.
Yep.
The campaigns rate well. Halo has always had these issues after the fact with these. Well, not always. This time it's the multiplayer. My point is, it is sad that they cannot give us a 3-hour Hive Busters like campaign, like they're saying in the chat.
Multiple times. You can do that easily. There's
have
so many.
Forge. And this is the worst thing. Forge, people are making campaigns in Forge right now.
Yep.
You have Forge AI.
Yep.
You can't put like 10, 15 people use Forge, make a campaign.
Yep. It's just like, and this is why, right? This is why you hear me consistent on this show. To me, Halo is dead. Until you revive it, Halo is dead. And it continues to be given short shrift for where its importance lies. I get it. You guys can now, you live in a world where hero shooters exist, so you can just give us lore and move forward, right? But that's not how Halo started. And those of us who love Halo will not give that up. I don't want Halo to become Overwatch, which is what they're trying to do here.
So Inferno Games in the chat, shout out to you, sir, is saying that Halo 3 and Reach were the only games with complete endings. Here's the problem with that. 343 took over after Reach, right? Or was it ODST that they took over? I'm going to say after Reach.
After Reach.
Because 343 didn't do ODST.
Reach was the last one. Yeah.
So if we're saying the last ones that had complete endings were Reach and Halo 3, that means 343 has never given us an ending.
Yes.
And 343 is only doing one game a generation.
Basically, yeah.
It's a problem.
It is.
Right? And they're making, I don't care what anybody says, I'm not asking for anybody's opinion, they're making great campaigns, but they're not finishing the fight. Right.
It's hilarious that is the slogan that's always used, because it never ever gets finished. Like ever. So, and that is so frustrating for those of us who like beginning, middles, and ends. Right? You hear me say that all the time. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end, but they never give us ends ever.
If you want to do a cliffhanger, you better come back with something within a year. Right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But you're saying you're gonna do one campaign every 7 years.
Yep. And then it's always a recreation of the wheel every 7 years, and then forget the cliffhanger ending that you left last time. Like, it's frustrating. It makes me, as a person who loves that beginning, middle, and end, not trust to jump on the new ride with you, because I will know that you will eventually leave me hanging again.
And then again, what I think their plan is, now that they have Forge AI, they're gonna leave it to the community to make campaigns, because that's what they're doing now. And I'm just
as long as you know what, look, as long as you give the community enough tools to really take it there and make it like fully, like, is there a world where I can have my brothers Silent Cypher and my homie Infinite Umbra get in the booth real quick and produce some quality audio material to add to the game that someone like Sika Mechanico is building? If we can do that in a world where it can satisfy the gamers, just like people have been doing in the world of Skyrim and all these, creating proper stories themselves, hey, I'm okay with it. I'll be content with that in Halo Infinite for as long as it needs to be. But don't give us short shrift. If the AI tools are going to be properly used and you're going to make this a whole thing, make it a whole thing and then let it live. I'll be okay with that. I will be, right? I will be. Yeah, it doesn't mean that I still don't think it deserves smoke for just coming in half-assed and then always doing the same BS you always do, which is give you a cliffhanger story and then forget about us, right? Like, it still deserves that smoke. I'm sorry.
Again, and we should move on now. But
yes, we will. We will. Yes.
If you played that game, and I did it all in that campaign, I got all the audio notes. We know, like, what's Lasky doing?
All the threads.
Where is what you call its team? Jesus again.
Lock team. Yeah.
Right?
Team Osiris.
All came down there, right? And the other members on Blue Team, right? All of those stories are things that you put in there
and then left hanging. Yeah.
You built Forge, and people are making people recreated the Halo 3 campaign in Forge.
Yep.
And you can't do that and just hire some voice actors to come in and do something. Like, this is what we got to deal with.
So anyway, real quick, JD Gamer is asking, why is it that we have commercials during the live broadcast? It's because we can't turn them off now. It sucks. It's unfortunate. When you turn it off, they slip it in there, whether you like it or not. Yeah. Our first pause of the day. Forgive us.
That's the
But
second
yes.
one. But
Well, okay. Well, the first one, we'll let the first one slide. Let the first one slide. But okay, let's move on to more talk here about this. And it's you didn't like when Insider Gaming came out critical about the Keeleys. Now here's The Verge coming out critical about the Keeleys. Now, who from The Verge came out critical about the Keeleys? This is not Tom Warren. This is Ash Parrish.
Well, here I agree, right?
Yeah.
Because like you're cutting people off, these people who are winning the awards, even though we know what the show really is, you're still using them as a guise.
This is my point.
And you know why it rings so effed up? Because he let all his friends go on forever.
Yep.
Right? So Christopher Judge can go on there, make a bad joke about Call of Duty, right? Talk 8 minutes last year and then come up here and take minutes away. And then when the voice actor comes up, right? You let Christopher Judge go for 8 minutes last year. You let him go for 3.5 minutes just to announce the award. And then the person comes up to speak and he's talking about members that they lost on the crew. People, somebody that worked on the game died, and the dude is up there emotional, and you're rushing him off a stage. Then Kojima comes out and shows you fuck all with OD.
That's
and
one.
They can come out there and talk forever, right? But then you're rushing everybody off the stage. So that smoke is, I think, warranted.
Yeah. I don't disagree. See, but this is my point, right?
I don't care if OD is an Xbox exclusive. It is, but Kojima didn't show you nothing. And
this is the point I keep trying to make, and people keep conflating it between the team problem. Oh, your team versus our team. I feel like this award show, this event, just keeps like being, his agenda gets pushed beyond all, and it's naked on its face. And then every time anybody sees it, you get gaslit into saying, no, nothing to see here. You're just upset because your team didn't win. That has nothing to do with this, right? This thing looks very one-sided. Your people get to come on and talk and speak and enjoy themselves, while the quote-unquote people who are so important, that are developers who are making the games you love, yeah, congratulations, shoot. This is what keeps happening.
Did anyone else notice this? And maybe it was just me. You remember when the Fallout crew came on stage and they had the suit, which we should talk about, and then they pointed to Todd and the other guy. Did you notice how pissed the other guy looked? And he's like, "Don't put the camera on me. Wrap it up. Get out." He
was not having it.
Who was that guy?
I have no idea who that guy was, but I wish we could like scrub through the footage and try and recreate that moment. But I was just like, yo, not everybody's like, down with the music right now.
Angry.
Yes, he looked actually.
So what was that about? Why did he look like don't
get me out of here? Yes. Don't put that on me. Yes, it seemed very unusual, and they never explained it. They wrapped it up and they moved along. Todd's handler, possibly. Who knows? But yes. So yeah, Everborn. I guess I don't want to go through all of these piece by piece. Yes, I know you had a lot of smoke for OD. I know. Right. Question.
Rise of Ronin. I need to talk about Rise of Ronin for a second.
Okay. That's where I was gonna go. What do you think of PlayStation's contribution here? Rise of Ronin being one of them. Go ahead.
Like that is, so it looks very similar to Wolong, like in this presentation.
Yes, it does.
What it does not look similar to is its original tech demo reveal when Sony showed it at their showcase. And what I found super interesting, because I remember people saying like, oh, Xbox got the Wolong game.
Yeah, we got the wrong one. Yeah.
Because Rise of Ronin looks really good. This looks exactly like Wolong, which is fine, right? But what was interesting to me is that when Sony tweeted about this game, their exclusive, they showed the original tech demo footage.
They didn't show this one.
Right. So what is that about?
it's not coming together well. You think there might just be some issues there?
No. It has nothing to do with coming together well. Like Koei Tecmo, I'm sure the game is gonna be. If you like Wolong, you're gonna like this.
Yeah.
But this feels like another Wolong type of game.
It's a step back. It looked like from a graphic standpoint. It does look like it's not. It does look less than what it was
when
first.
they first showed it. That's all I'm showing. But it still
Yes.
looks like a Koei Tecmo game. It looks
True.
like Wolong, and there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
But I'm not in the same place where I'm like, damn, Xbox got the short end of the stick with Wolong.
Yep.
Like this looks like another Wolong type of game.
Yes.
If I'm wrong in the chat, somebody tell me. And that's again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it looks like Wolong, and it doesn't look like when they first showed it. That's the only point I'm making.
So in the beginning, when Wolong was first showed off, Wolong looked better. I mean, Ronin looked better, right?
Yes, it looked better than Wolong, and now this looks exactly like Wolong.
Oh, okay. Chair Walker coming with some clarity. He says the dude that was next to Todd was Jonathan Nolan, the director of Fallout, and he didn't want nothing about the showrunner.
And he was also the showrunner on Westworld, which was very good for the first two.
Which is very good for the first. Yes. Now, okay. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. I want to see the trailer. Like, man, oh man. This, to me, this was the trailer of show. Holy crap, man, oh man. And the reason why I'm so excited is because this is not just, oh, look at the trailer. You know what these guys are capable of. You've seen it, you've played it. Now they're just applying this to actually they're giving you the potential hard-edged Sea of Thieves campaign you've been wanting, only in a 2D platform.
Oh, I think well, this is not a 2D platform.
Well, it's an action RPG. Yes.
I think this is going to be dark in tone. I think there's going to be a lot of politics going on, and I think it's going to be an emotional gut punch,
as they do.
Ori was,
as they do,
and with their presentation skills. I hear the I don't know who the head of this studio is, but I hear he's a jerk to work with.
Tomas,
maybe you got to be a jerk to make great things.
He has foot and mouth disease, especially when it comes to Xbox.
So what? Guess what? I'm buying this game on day one.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, yes. It takes arrogant, pompous A-hats to create brilliant works of art. Look at Everborn Saga. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, what can I say? But I'm telling you right now, this is day zero. I want to say this now. I think that this game will be in Game Pass.
You think so? Because you did see him start talking glowing all of a sudden.
An article talking about what they learned from Ori and working with Xbox and all of that stuff. Seems like he's trying to get back in their good graces again.
Graphically, they are art style. They are second to none. These guys, man. Woof.
I don't care if it's in Game Pass. I'm buying this day one, but I think it's going to be in Game Pass.
It does look amazing. No rest for the wicked.
Great name, by the way.
Yes, it seems like it's the pirate movie game that you've wanted. People usually lend too hard in the goofy direction when they're talking pirate games. I like Sea of Thieves, but it's too jovial. It's not that hard edge that you were looking for. Pirates of the Caribbean lent in that jovial direction. We want that hard edged, what Skull and Bones was purporting to be, which obviously, we saw what happened to that. And actually, isn't Skull and Bones still slated to come? They put a date on it finally. But yeah, this looks like it's really something else.
Which I don't even know if they're gonna make that date. No. But honestly, this is fantastic.
Yes, it is. Yes.
If you played both of the Ori games, bruh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Excellent. Now, since we are in the conversation talking about your indie fare, did you see? Go ahead, please.
I think we skipped it because it was earlier in the show.
Okay.
Metaphor The new Atlas RPG.
Metaphor. Where was that? Did I catch that in the top? Let me go back to
I don't know, but it was earlier in the show. I don't know if this is showing in the order in the show.
Oh yeah, it's not showing in the order. Let me find the trailer. Well, you talk about Metaphor, and I'll find the trailer for it.
Metaphor is Atlas's next RPG, and it's a fantasy RPG. And it looks like and I've only played a little bit of Persona 5, but if we're saying those people are making an RPG with a fantasy setting, I am all the way excited for it. And it's an action RPG. So
now, of course, and all the branding seems to now be Xbox, so there's that, right? So this is Metaphor. What is it? Metaphor Read Fantango or whatever? Yes.
That's
what this is. Metaphor Read Fantango, the Royal Tournament. That's what it's called. Too much.
But this is my kind of game. Fantasy setting, and it looks like all the politics in tow. Like you're playing an anime. You got their production value in music. Like, let's go.
Okay.
So for me, this is one of my most anticipated for next year. I'm all the way here for it.
Okay. And I appreciate you bringing this up, because I have another one that I want to bring up to your attention, and it's right along in this line. Right now, we know Mr. Everborn Saga tends to not be. If you ask Mr. Everborn Saga, is he about the what do you call it, technology or fantasy? He's Mr. Fantasy. So, what do you think of Light No Fire, Everborn Saga? I don't know if you saw this. Light No Fire.
I think that it was a missed opportunity, and this is not my line. This was from Xbox 2 yesterday, but I just want to repeat it. They should have called this No Man's Land. Think about
it. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that blows my brain. You are absolutely right. But basically what it is it's No Man's Sky fantasy. So if you're not into all the one planet fantasy, like, talk about this is Skyrim on extreme. Like,
yes. And so what's gonna happen is Elder Scrolls 6 is gonna come out, and they're gonna compare it to this.
Abso-friggin-lutely. You just nailed it right there. But yes.
But
No Man's Land.
Again,
that's hilarious.
It's not like a thing where they're selling smoke and mirrors for like a couple.
Well, they learned their lessons. They learned their lesson, presumably, right? And they've done right by No Man's Sky. So hopefully they start on a better footing than they did before. But this is all CG. It's all generated, huh? The whole thing.
Yeah. The only thing that I want to, which is going to be interesting, because when you add multiplayer to this, how does it work if it's procedurally generated? I don't know.
But that's exactly where No Man's Sky is now. It's all procedurally generated, and there's multiplayer in there, right? When they say procedurally generated, though, this is what you have to understand. What most people don't understand, when they say it's procedurally generated, people think that it comes and goes into the ether and it's random. Yes, it is, but once it's random and it's solid, at least Hello Games' way is they create the conditions that creates that first random event, and then it stays that way based on an algorithm, a huge mathematical equation. If the No Man's Sky method is what they use here, that's what they do. They take a huge number based on pi, and they use each number to keep that random instance. So yes, it's random, but it never changes because it's that random creation, so that there's always the same place that everyone can go to, right?
So my thing is, it seems like it's gonna be more densely packed.
Yes, on one big planet that's the size of Earth.
But this, to me, this kind of game is gonna live and die on its narrative.
Yes.
And if you're going to make something to compete with Skyrim, or really you have to add like World of Warcraft, right? If they're not going to tell a compelling narrative, I don't know about this.
Well, it's not even that they're not going to tell a compelling narrative. they may have the capability of doing so, right? But the way they've been doing so far, which is basically just a bunch of screeds on the screen in a narrative heavy fantasy setting, I don't think that will be enough. Am I wrong? I think they need to get voice acting in this game.
No, but that's my point. Like, if they're not doing that, then don't bring up Elder Scrolls 6 or Skyrim or you know, a lot of other stuff for that matter. So I think because it's a fantasy setting, if you want me to live in this fantasy worlds are about story. Yes,
Dorian Gray brings up an interesting point.
Without a narrative to go with you.
Dorian Gray says Valheim is similar and successful. Absolutely true. Valheim has no real, they do, but it's very sparse, but people really enjoy it. But Valheim also leans more heavily on the survival aspect of it, right?
Well,
whereas this one is, well, this one's also leaning not just heavily on the survival. They're really going for like beyond the survival. They're going for storytelling, and they're going for moment-to-moment occurrences, and you know, hence the multiplayer stuff that they're leaning heavy into. We shall see. I just think it's really awesome that this indie team has allowed to thrive, and now they're making another big shot. It's pretty cool. Yeah. I'm really thinking I'm happy.
EP117 in the chat says AI may provide the narrative.
Interesting. Yes.
Because it's procedurally generated, and if you can do it with AI, maybe, you know.
Yes. Yes. A very, very, very interesting thought.
I will. I'm not a Valheim guy, so I will give. I see you in the chat. I will give this a shot if they show me that there's some kind of narrative around it. If not, I'm not really gonna.
So you know what's gonna happen, right? Now here's a deja vu moment. Cut to 3 years or 4 years from now when they're announcing Skyrim, and then we're talking about it.
Well, ES6, they're gonna be comparing this.
ES6,
you can't go seamlessly from kingdom to kingdom. I'm telling you, just be prepared for that.
Be prepared for the smoke. Be prepared for the smoke. Yes, absolutely. All right. So let us talk. Do you want to talk more about more of the different games we saw there, or do you want to get to Blade?
Well, we'll come to Blade in a second.
Okay. What about God of War Valhalla?
That's just what I was gonna say. So they're making it into a roguelike.
Yeah.
Or
which hey, before anybody has anything to say, props to Sony adding a new mode, making it free.
About that, right? They pointed out we're making this free for the fans because we love our fans. So let me ask you a question. Does Naughty Dog not love their fans? Why say that?
I suspect
that's weird.
I suspect this was a mode that was intentionally part of the plan, and it wasn't ready for prime time. They have no plans to add proper DLC that may request coin. So this is just something you can drop in. People will be happy, you know.
Well, so I think
substantial enough to get a good headline, not substantial enough to warrant charging.
Well, we'll have to see when it's available, right? But what I will say about this is, if you've ever done the hunt for Valkyries, right?
Yeah.
That's your post game thing that a lot of people do in both God of Wars. Like adding that roguelite element to it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It
gives you something to do after the fact, and you keep going. And maybe this is the beginnings of something that could be, you know, I mean, they're staying single player, but it will get people playing. You're gonna want to beat scores. It's a good thing.
It is.
It's free. And it's interesting because The Last of Us 2 Remastered is doing something similar, right? They have that new is it a multiplayer mode or is it a roguelite mode?
It's a roguelite mode.
Yeah, so that I think they're leaning into that for their single player experiences to get people to be in the game and continue playing after their main campaign.
Wow, man, Paris will not let go. He said Sonic should be free too. Every topic is an excuse to put the boot on Sonic's neck in the show right now.
That's good.
Man,
but no, I mean, I think this.
No, props to Sony, man.
And I wonder if they're taking like input from what's the name of that studio that they bought at the beginning of the generation that did Returnal?
Housemark.
Yes,
Yeah.
Housemark.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're taking cues from them.
I will say, Housemark did not make the best roguelike because their tenants were not within the best roguelike tenants. Because roguelikes are fast, repeatable. They were making roguelikes that would have you lose all of your progress after 5-6 hours of exploration, and boom, that's not the right way. That's why a lot of people dropped it immediately.
No, that's why I dropped it. And it's so funny with Returnal. Like, I've never hated a game that I went back.
I went back and finished it, and it's a great game once you get past that initial ridiculousness. And they fixed a lot, and they patched stuff.
Well, they had those bugs that made me like I get to the end and then doors stop working and things like that. And then they took away going back to re-up your life. And so it felt like a waste of time. But anyway, I'm only saying this to say that that game just should have been a straightforward
adventure game. Yes.
And then like it didn't need that element. And I wish they had a mode that was just, hey, I cleared this boss. Now I'm done with this one. And I don't have to, and it does have that element, like you beat the boss, but it should have had save points because it is what it is. All right, are we doing Hellblade now?
Let's do Hellblade. And first, before we even start, you see how they listen, right? In-game footage captured on Series X. Says it right there before the game.
They did that last year, though.
I know. All I'm saying is this is positive reinforcement. When they do the good thing, we must call it out instead of always complaining and bitching when they do the bad thing.
Again, I'm not looking to make any friends today, but if I was them, I would be showing it all on
the 4090. No,
that's what the game can look like. That's how you show it.
Nope. If even possible, I would have loved to see this on Series S and put that that as the stinger, right? Once you blow wigs back and everybody's just sitting there with their face agape, then you drop it, bang, stinger, Series S footage, and they're like, oh, holy crap! There you go. Anyway, let's start this. This was on Series X footage.
Best way that it can be played, and it has.
Well, if you want the best way it can be played, then go buy yourself a liquid cooled 4090, good sir.
Hey, listen, I got a 3080 looking pretty good. Show me the game like that, and I will play it. Anyway.
Are we impressed at the footage we saw coming out of this Series X footage?
You thought it was a 4090 with the
Series X footage. What did you think when you saw
at the beginning of it? I'm like, you're really showing us this is a walking simulator. But then they showed the sword, and I was like, all right, means business. So
look at that face, yeah.
Now I still like this again. It looks amazing. It looks better than anything out, and it's giving Alan Wake a run for its money in terms of visuals. I think it looks better than Alan Wake. If I'm being honest,
you've only played a few hours of it, not even, so you're a bad judge.
Continue. You played no hours of Hellblade, so we in the
I
same.
Played Hellblade 2. I played Hellblade 1.
You didn't play Hellblade 2. You played 1. You didn't play this.
Oh, true.
So now
this is the combat. Yes.
Now, I don't know. So again, fidelity off the charts. This is it. It's using all the Xbox tech. It's showing you the power of the box. And if this is how it looks on the Series X, wait till you get it on the 4090 and I get it on the 3080. Boy, oh boy.
I know there's a but coming. But go ahead, hit me with the but.
Okay. No, there's no but. But I
love it. There's no but. Yeah.
The combat. I would have liked to have seen her fighting multiple enemies, like in the middle of a war. And
salute to the man, Infinite Umbra. He said, "It's the power of Unreal Engine 5." The power.
This was his time to shine. He
Of
saw
course it
this
is.
and was like, and where I was with the Sega trailer.
He saw
But anyway,
the electricity was coming through his veins, indeed.
but the point I'm making, the combat does look like a big upgrade from the last one, right? There's
Absolutely.
more things going on, but I almost wanted this to, because it visually it looks better than God of War, right? But I wanted the combat to be at least close to that, where there's multiple enemies coming around you, you can lock in step with one of them, things like that. And I see, like,
I would say, like, just because this is what you see does not mean this is all you're gonna get, right? Because we've seen footage of her in huge fields with armies, right? And there's fighting happening there as well. We just didn't see that here. This is more of a one-to-one remembering of how the first one was, and I will give you credit for this aspect of it, right? Which is that the game you first saw, right? And anyone can tell me I'm wrong, right? The game we first got, as in Hellblade 1, was a product of its marketing, a product of its budget in general. They couldn't, and they've even talked about it. They couldn't go too far in the combat direction because they didn't have enough money to do that. So what they created, as you know, was shaped. Most Genius is shaped by limitations, right? And they had a budget limitation, so that's what shaped the combat we know as Hellblade 1. But Hellblade 1 now is a known IP, a known commodity. People know what it looks like. People know its style. So if you go to make Hellblade 2 and now you have Microsoft money, even though, let's be clear, this is not an infinite budget game, you have more of a budget than you had before. You won't like throw the baby out with the bathwater and start from scratch because now you got money. You're just going to iterate on what you already have. So I don't foresee this all of a sudden becoming like, you know, God of War, multiple enemies coming at you at the same time. It becomes an iterative of what was already there. Am I wrong?
Sure.
Yeah.
I want to be very clear. I am not disappointed in any way. This was the star of the show for me, even more so than Blade, because we don't really have, like, Blade, just that it exists, it's a big thing. But this
shows you what you
combat.
got. Yes.
They showed me combat. It seems very involved. But I just don't want it to be a bunch of QTE combat moments. So it's like visceral, but it's really just you pressing the button at the right time. I want there to be some combos that you can do. That's basically what I want to see, and I want to see her I want to see her taking on multiple enemies, and that's it. And I think it will have that, but we just didn't see that here. We saw a lot of 1v1s.
Yes,
but I think there's more to be seen on that front. That's my point. Again, visually, this looks better than maybe anything we've ever seen, right? And the fact that it's running on a Series X is even crazier. And again, we wanted combat. They showed combat, and it looks way more visceral than the first one.
Yeah. So I think I guess this is a question to the chat, a question to the community. Like, I have to ask.
By the way, if it's 30 FPS, I don't care.
That's a good question. 30 FPS, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think? So let's see. Yeah, man.
You played Starfield at 30 FPS, didn't you? You could play that.
No, I didn't. I did not play Starfield.
Not you. I'm saying the people that might want to poo-poo it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so I have to put it in the chat. Let's do that. 30 FPS. Yes, no, get the hell out of here. Hell no, I'll say. Hell no.
Best Stephen A. Smith voice. I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
So
we don't care.
So so it's in the chat. I want y'all to vote on it. 30 FPS. Yes, no, hell no. Which one is it? Meaning yes as in you don't mind it, you'll play. No as in nope, you're not playing, or hell no. And then of course people are asking, where's the PCMR option? Nah, we're talking to troglodytes this morning. The PCMRs are on Monday night. Just messing with you, my bad. No, this is strictly for the console, because as you know, on the PC side you have more options. But on the console, will this be 30 FPS? And if it is, you know, will you be okay with it? And I see DJ asking an interesting question. What if it's 40 FPS? That might be a better threading of the needle. I hope it is. But so far, it seems like PlayStation's been more willing to play in those 40 FPS waters than Microsoft has been. It should be interesting. What about Exodus?
UE5 handle it at
That's the thing. I don't think UE5 can currently in the console space. I don't think so, because it's very, very, very very heavy. Because a lot of the great nanite and all those other tools that Epic has been putting in have not been translating into console hardware.
I will be playing this game on fidelity mode, even if there's a 60 FPS option.
Okay.
Straight up.
Okay.
All right. Exodus,
I'll be playing it on console on PC only, but that's neither here nor there. Exodus, what'd you think of this? Like,
I'd actually like to hear Slow-Mo's thoughts on this one.
Sure. Slow-Mo, I don't know if you're around.
It didn't sound like him at all in the trailer.
No, none of these what they showed would be Matthew McConaughey in it. He said he's in the game, but nothing they showed showed it about. But I will say, they got my attention, man, with that hardcore like Mass Effect vibes. It felt like it looked amazing, right? They took the cartoony edge off, and it was really like hardcore, like space opera. I don't know, man. It spoke my language. You don't think so?
Well, what I need to understand is if you can travel seamlessly from space into atmosphere into planet, and if you can't, it's automatic L. I think we need to compare this to No Man's Sky because reasons.
Is this what you're gonna do?
It's gonna break the immersion. It's a space game, so I have to travel inside of the planet. And that's how this game should be judged.
Everyone's Saga trying really hard. Well done, sir. Well done.
That is your barometer for any space game.
Any space game. Yeah, that's right. It does like have some interesting like visuals. You know, it's almost evoking Star Citizen a little bit with its seriousness and tone.
I wouldn't say that yet.
Okay.
Now, again, I need to know how, because a lot of people saying it's Mass Effect vibes. I don't know that I get that, because again, it's this so far from what they've shown seems like a very personal story between, and I know they're separated already, and she's probably dead because he, all that time passed.
I have a born cold-blooded Saga.
They're gonna say I'm spoiling it, but I don't see anything that has anything to do with relationships here. It could be a super narrowly focused game, so I wouldn't call it like a mass. I know the people that are working on it were Mass Effect alumni, but I don't know if we can call it Mass Effect vibes yet.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
They could just be telling a straightforward, like, for example, you wouldn't say what was that game that came out from the dude that made the people that made Dead Space that looked really good visually?
Oh, you mean the game you liked as well? Oh man, now the name is escaping me. Come on.
Right, that's how hard it flopped.
Yeah, people said the combat was boxing. Yes, there you go. Callisto Protocol.
Callisto Protocol, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't call that a Mass Effect clone just because it was in space. You don't know anything about this game yet to say.
Well, but no. The reason why people are saying Mass Effect, maybe you have you played Andromeda? This has a lot of Andromeda vibe.
I played Andromeda for a couple hours.
It looks very Andromeda-y with various with lots of different kind of species being represented there. You even heard people speaking about it even in the Starfield context with the jump packs and the combat. Even though Andromeda did not do what it was supposed to do, it did evoke a good style and it did create a signature for themselves. Too bad the stories didn't get where it was, because the visuals and the moment to moment and that signature was very much there for Andromeda. So a lot of people harken back to it when they see other people doing that style. So that's probably why some of that is referenced here as well.
Yeah,
I hope the story is there. I just hope it is.
I played all three Mass Effects originally, beat them, sure, everybody did. But then I played it again recently, so Mass Effect is fresh in my mind.
Fresh in your mind, yeah. Have you played Andromeda recently?
Yeah, at the same time when the what do you call it came out.
Andromeda
When the-
is
when
such a wasted opportunity. It was so much fun, but the
I still
stories are
can't
just
get
boring.
over the father's hair. Like you make a black character and then the father. Anyway, the point is, this does not give me Mass Effect vibes yet. Maybe it
Yeah.
will.
Okay.
That's just a story trailer
Mhm,
that
mhm.
shows a couple of seconds of combat here and there that I don't even know is real.
So let's
I'm
move
not going
on.
with Mass Effect yet.
Let's move on. And you are the one who's always saying that we don't give enough attention to mobile games. Do you know World of Goo?
Nope. And it's a mobile game, but I don't care.
No. World of Goo can be given the credit as one of the first ever real proper mobile games to hit. Like when iPhone first came out, like OG iPhone, like this was the first game besides your little small finger keep your finger busy games while you're at the doctor's office. The World of Goo was the first one that made its like million. Like it really caught fire. World of Goo 1. Like OG mobile, before there was microtransactions, before any of that existed. This game was really impressive. And I'm surprised to see that World of Goo 2 is coming out. And yes, I know. Dorian Gray's in our chat. We're not gonna be man babies this morning. We're gonna let y'all do that in the chat if you so choose. He says World of Goo. So many jokes. Absolutely. So many jokes. Jeez. But yes, this game, puzzle game, you can use it to, you're building a structure. It's like almost a architectural puzzle. Building structures to the top to have your little amoebas travel all the way to the top. I'm calling them amoebas. You can call them something else. Man babies this morning, yes. But yes, 15 years this game has been out, and now they're creating another one. So I don't know. I thought it was super interesting. I know that most people don't give a crap because it's a mobile game. I will be playing this game because I remember this game like it was yesterday. Like really cool when mobile first came out and people were excited about it. Oh my God, what will it mean? This existed before all the others. So I think it's cool that they're bringing the IP back.
More power to you and the developers, sir.
There you go.
Have to sit that one out.
There you go. What else do they have? This one, Windblown. Did you see this trailer? Windblown. It looked unusually good. Like you're like, okay, it's a little cartoony thing, and then they're cutting people up. Like they're just cutting people up. I was like, wow.
People dying in the trailer, like
yes, in the trailer. Like we were just getting murked in the trailer. I was just like, okay, this is something else. You know, now it's a Steam. It's listed on Steam, right? As a what is this? Let's see. It's listed as a mind melting cosmic racer, and an essential odd. What? No. This is the wrong one. Hold on. No, that's the other one. Hold on. Yeah, Windblown coming in 2024 early access, and this is footage from the Steam variant of it. I'm not sure what to think because the story they told looked super cool, but then the gameplay looks like arena shooters. Look at this. They're like literally tearing people to pieces. So I don't know if this is one of those. I wouldn't
call it an arena shooter. It seems like there's a lot of combo action going on.
There is, but it's in a locked arena. It's not like it's not like you're a story game where you're moving forward and reaching combat.
Are you sure? Or was that just a boss fight?
Or maybe it could be the boss fight. Yeah, you're right. It could very much be the boss fight. So it did the trailer did its job. I definitely wish listed this thing. I put it on my list because it looks really cool. So yeah, I hope we get to play it soon. I hope it comes on. I hope it has good controller support and all that. It looks interesting. So there you go. There's that. And then this is the one. Did you see this one? This is I forget what it's called. It's called geez, I forget the name of it. It's from the developer of Thumper. Did you ever play Thumper?
Nope.
You didn't play Thumper. Well, it's great outside of VR, but it's better in VR. It's a motion visual game that really it's like rock and roll for your senses. It's really interesting. But yes, I doubt most people will. It may or may not catch fire like it used to. What I do want to talk about though is
Pony
Thrasher.
Island.
There you
Let's
go.
go back and talk about that one.
You want to talk about Pony Island?
Pony Island 2. What is this?
No, Brothers.
Every day on X.
Brothers. Did you
Brothers
play
look-
the original Brother?
I did not. But
Do you know the original Brother?
No.
The original Brothers was
What?
an Xbox 360 game. One of the
Wait,
first.
I feel like I do know this.
Yes, where you control each character with a different with a different thumbstick. Two brothers. It's a puzzle game on Xbox Live Arcade. One of the first ones. They are literally remaking this thing and putting it everywhere, and they're putting the visuals like really, really front and center this time. So you did not know that this was that game.
I did not know that this was that game. First
Yes.
of all, I'm still vaguely remembering the 360 one because it sounds familiar, but I can't point to anything about it.
Okay, so because this is a 360 game, it's easy to find here. One moment. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is what it's called. And I will show you the original version because let's see here. Actually, here you go. I know that some people probably will already have footage of it out there already. So let me show you this real quick. Here's footage that people have put out. So here's the original game on 360, right? And I'm sure that they're gonna have a hold on here. Original version, and then they have the remake version of it. Here's your side by sides. Right? They basically took the original game and they, gave it the PlayStation treatment, if you will, as they say, the PlayStation treatment,
All right, I will.
Yep.
I will give this one a chance.
And actually,
I don't remember it though.
a few years ago, it came out on Switch. So the actual game came out on Switch, and this is what it looks like. So this is the Switch variant of the game. But yeah, it originally started its life out as an Xbox 360 live arcade game that really caught fire. I think Special Nick said he cried when he played the game. Like, it was a really, really cool, heartwarming game, and it came out on Switch. So yeah, they remade it. I think people should give it a shot. If you haven't tried it out, you should play it. It looks like the game is remade so well that for the visuals alone, it'll be worth retrying. So there's that. Yeah. And it's coming out on PlayStation. It was originally only an Xbox exclusive, but now it's on PlayStation as well. So there's that. Now, let's double back. I want to talk about Blade, sir. I know you wanted to talk about Blade as well. Blade caught fire. There's a whole conversation about Blade. Let's talk about Blade. There's a conversation on them old Twitter streets. People are all up in arms.
Well, I'm old enough to remember a time where the talking point was Xbox got no games. And back in my day,
get off my lawn. Yeah, keep going.
We all knew that was BS. But today, the BS is right in your face because you can't go 5 minutes without someone trying to tell you that they can't wait to have an Xbox game. And I don't know if you know this, okay? But Arcade, Leon,
is an Xbox studio.
People will try to tell you, oh, the Redfall developers, Vampire. This is Arcane Leon, who made the Game of the Year nominated Deathloop.
Yep.
Who made
a PlayStation game.
Now, before we continue, I want you to pause it right there. Pause it. You took too long. Back it up. Okay, right there. Now, there is some controversy, and we have people watching all around the world. So I'd like to hear what people think about this. That inscription above the door is something from the book of the Quran.
Okay.
I don't know what it says, but I have seen a lot of people in the comments saying to remove that because they would not want something from their book in, a game about like vampires or whatever like that.
Okay.
Has anyone heard about any of that or any backlash or whatever?
This is new for
that
me.
Was all the comments that I saw under it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it says, so I don't know if it says anything.
I mean, I can screenshot it and I can have AI tell me what it says, but this is new for me. I haven't heard I haven't heard it. Oh, I do see Lucius Augustus in the chat. Always great with his takes. He says he saw people praise the use of the verse, not necessarily denounce the use of it.
I can't speak to it because I don't know what it says, but I'm just speaking to the reaction that I saw under it. But people are just gonna complain.
Yeah, of course they're gonna pick whatever it is, whatever it is. Yeah. So, but I appreciate you stopping us and to talk about this real quick, because I do think on that topic it begs a quick conversation about the setting. Right, this is in Paris. Right, like this is in Paris. This is Black culture in Paris. Very unique look. Right, very unique look. This is not just Paris. This is Black culture in Paris. Right, and you see the iconography of it, because in Paris there are a lot of Muslim cultures. There are Black culture that intermingles differently than what you see in these here United States. These here United States, right? So I think it's super interesting, and it needs to be called out that what you're going to see here, and maybe some of the imagery and some of the stuff that it evokes might be foreign to you, because this is like specifically the European Black experience brought on display. And of course the director very much feels that experience because he's the Black man in Paris, right? Born and raised. So there's that. So we'll move forward. Sith Lord, $2 super chat. Thank you for being here. He says it's a good day when Everborn is on cam.
What can I say?
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Now another thing to point out, because some people are like, why is Blade in Paris? Blade is an international character.
International. That's right.
If you look at the end of the first Blade movie, it ends with him going to Russia.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So people should keep that in mind.
Keep it in mind. That's right. Yep.
Also, so it is again another big standout about this, because when I heard it was Arcane doing it, I was like, oh, it's gonna be a first-person game because that's all they make. No,
he came out and put it out there.
Person.
That's right.
And
that's
they pointed out that this is a straight-up single-player game. So none of that service nonsense forcing you to do co-op because whatever. And again, another thing to point out is that development has just started, which means development has fully started under Microsoft ownership.
Now, here's a question on that real quick. Okay. And by the way, I see Wade Johnson. I'm gonna take that as slander. He's like, he's not Miles Morales. No, he's not. No simping here, ladies and gentlemen. He's out. There will be no simping, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I'm taking that as violence. Forgive me. Anyway, look. I'm sorry. So yes. Where were you going? He diverged me.
No. So Arcane Leon is making it. They are based in Paris. They're making a game that takes place in Paris. It is going to be third person, which is wild. Yep. And that studio, Arcane Leon, they don't have bad days at the office.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna ask you. Leon, last game they made, Deathloop, right? When was Deathloop released?
Oh, so sorry. I said they're based in Paris. They're based in Lyon, obviously. Because they're called Arcane Lyon. Yes, but they're in France.
Yes. When was Deathloop's release date?
2021.
Okay, 2021, right? In fact, Deathloop released September 14th, 2021, right? That was what, 3 years ago from now, since they released the game. A year after they released the Xbox version. Now, seemingly, right now, we have inferences. I could be wrong, but we're inferring. We're using our logic to infer. You tell me if I'm wrong. Seemingly, they were developing both the Xbox and the PlayStation version in tandem, but prioritizing the PlayStation version because it had an exclusivity deal. It had a year ahead. So while they released both, right? They released the first one and then spent a year polishing the second one and released that one as well. Is there a world that them announcing this now, like they say they've been working on it for a year and a half, That was that has come out, right? Is there a world where the bones of this game were much further along, and what we're talking about is not them sitting on their butt for almost 2 years? Like, there's a lot of work already in this project. They're just now at a point where they're telling you about it, because they've been sitting around for 3 years.
I think it could have been that Marvel wanted to announce it on this day because it's the 50th anniversary. And
exactly. They've been sitting around for 3 years. You think they've done nothing for 3 years? No, I don't think so.
No, even the release. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying for you. I'm just talking in general. Like the release of the Xbox version, I don't think the whole team pivoted to creating the Xbox version from scratch. No, it needed more time in the oven. I'm sure a subset of the team did that, but I'm thinking this game has been in the mix for at least 1.5 years to 2, because they've been sitting on the sidelines for 3 years. Same thing like in the Machine Games instance, right? They recently announced the whole the Indiana Jones thing. How long has it been since Indiana Jones since Machine Games released the project? 2018. It's been a long time.
So what I'll say is this. The best games from the PS4 generation came out at the end of the generation.
Sure, right? Yes, that's when they had the chance to really work with the engines.
PS4 came out in 2013, but we didn't get Spider-Man and God of War until 2018. And we got Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2 in 2019.
Yep.
And we got Miles Morales in 2020. 7 years after that release. So it is entirely possible that, yes, this is going to come out in the end of the generation, and that's fine. 2025, 2026, like Beast Mode is saying. And that's the nature here. But what's interesting to me is that this game's development cycle will have taken place fully under Microsoft's ownership. And then, so I am excited about it. And when they say it's an immersive sim, how do you apply that to sort of Blade's style of combat in a third-person setting?
No, but you know what? They've basically, this to me is exactly the same. You can look at this exactly the same way you look at, say, Insomniac and Spider-Man, right? Like the Sunset Overdrive was the resume building exercise that got them Spider-Man. Like look at Arcane's body of work. They literally have many resume building exercises for the purposes of playing Blade. Look at the powers they use, the way they exude the stealth mystery and using of the shadows. Literally, like, there's no question that this is the perfect team to take this and make a thing of it. Now, I did hear people giving it a little bit of short shrift and asking questions about the art style that has been chosen for the game. But before we get there, Splendiferous, $2 super chat. He says, yes, Kay, Redfall was the demo, and they watched and cooked. Now, I'm not sure if I should take that one as slander.
I don't think Redfall was the demo. This is not to crap on Redfall, but Redfall is a first-person game. Redfall does not have ninja kicks and kung fu mixed with, like, I think it has some swords, but you know what I'm saying? Like swords mixed with guns. It's not the same. Yes, it's a vampire game, but it's not.
It's not the same.
It's not so, but again, I'm very interested with how you apply the nature of something like a Dishonored with third-person action combat that is a mix between melee and shooting, because that's effectively what they're going to have to pull off here, which means they're going to have different ways to go through these scenes.
And people giving this thing short shrift, they need to shut their mouths. Do you not see what's on display right now? They have taken the art style of, say, a Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse, like comics realism, and that's what they're doing here. And people want realism? Shut up. This is way better. Look at it. Look closely at his skin. Like, the beads of comic book sweat are there. Look at it. Like the little blotches when you're printing a comic book page, you see that's what they're evoking here. It is far more complex than just, make it look real. This is way better.
Right. And it's rated M. So
I'm yes.
Excited about that. And the tone just from the trailer is is great.
Yes.
Art style, I love the art style.
Me too.
I genuinely don't care about anybody's opinion on that. So to me, super excited. Now, right here at the end.
Yes. Let's talk about
it does not say there's no branding at the end. It just says
and oh, by the way, this is on the Marvel website and nowhere else. And it keeps anytime
it's on Bethesda's
and on Bethesda's as well. Yes. But it's not on Xboxes. It's just literally right here. Right now, we've heard that turn into a lot of smoke. Do you want to regale the public with your hypothesis? Because I think you're onto something there. Okay. I am on that page that you're on as well.
What I'd also like you to do, if you could pull up the Indiana Jones trailer.
Okay.
And I want you to show. It's 30 seconds long, 34 seconds, I think. And I'd like you to tell me what branding is on that trailer. And then someone's gonna say, "But John, that trailer came out in January of 2021, and the deal wasn't finalized yet." But then I will say to them that Microsoft has never posted about this game on their Xbox website. Never once. In fact, even 2 years later after this acquisition, 2.5 years. Look at that. Very similar. What does that say?
It's still very much exactly like the other one, which is Indiana Jones, Lucasfilms, Bethesda, Machine Games. That's it. There's nothing else. So, no Xbox, no Microsoft.
So again, no branding, and even 2 years later, we don't have branding on.
We have no branding on it.
It has not been showed in an Xbox showcase. It has not been listed on Xbox Wire as exclusive to anything. The only way we know that is exclusive
is because we heard about it in the court filings.
We heard about it in the court filings.
Yep.
Right. But I'll take it a step further. What we heard in the court filings, and this game came up specifically, and other IPs, is that Phil, when testifying, said he wanted to get a Game Pass deal for this thing that they had already in the works, and they went to Disney, and Disney was fine having it be exclusive. And Phil made the call to make the whole slate exclusive.
Yep.
And so, what would be the difference with this game? And you cannot tell me that Marvel would have said, no, this has to be multi-platform. Why can't you tell me that?
No, because Spider-Man and
Marvel
there's many
initially Marvel initially went to Xbox to make Spider-Man.
Yep. And Spider-Man, and they said no. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And they turned them down. Marvel is licensing these things all over the place. And if you don't think Microsoft, because they know what a game like this would do for the brand, if you don't think Microsoft would pay whatever money it costs for this licensing, I have a bridge to sell you. And this is not Spider-Man.
So first off,
I'm not done yet, though. I'm not done yet.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Now, the film will come out in another 2 or 3 years, right? So that will have nothing to do
with this, though. Like this game will still not be far in development still.
But that film will put Blade in the zeitgeist, provided
Marvel
can get their act together. And then this coming out after that, just like the Spider-Man game that Insomniac did was great. It had nothing to do with the MCU, but it benefited that it came out in the same year.
Well, the reason why I'm asking, I have a reason I'm asking real quick, right? And before I do, I'll say salute to the 297 people watching. Please hit the like button if you haven't done so.
Whoa,
subscribe. 300 actually. 300. I see 300. Salute to the 3 bills. Salute to the 300 people in here.
This might be a record high. I want to know how many likes.
Absolutely. We have 198 likes, please.
Not even
138, 39 likes now. Please hit the like button if you haven't done so.
Can we get to half at least?
Let's end our year strong. We appreciate y'all for being here. Thank you so much. Now, about
So,
me bringing up this
last
this
thing,
this thing
last
with Blade.
I gotta say, last thing I gotta say.
Okay.
So, you may have not been paying attention, or the
Mhm.
broader audience may not have been paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
However, the FTC, even though they keep losing,
Yeah.
even this week has been trying to tie
Yep.
exclusivity of ZeniMax
As a
titles
noose around
as-
Microsoft neck. Yep.
for the APK deal, ABK deal, which they're still
Mhm.
trying to block.
Yep.
So Microsoft, out of pure caution,
Yep.
has the plausible deniability to say that decision hasn't been made already.
Yep. And that's
So-
why it could also
so-
be left off. Absolutely. Yep.
So why? And again, it takes 3 to 6 months for they did their hearing for the
Mhm.
appeal. The Ninth Circuit is going to decide on this thing in 3 to 6 months. This game will not be coming out in the next 3 to 6 months.
True.
So it is better to let that court case play out so that they cannot use this as one more feather in their cap against you with judges. It
Absolutely.
makes no sense to announce it. And you know why it makes no sense to announce it? Because everyone, including us right now, is
Are talking about it.
Will Blade be exclusive? Will it not be exclusive?
Do you know what's important?
Is Xbox the third party?
Game
They're
Pass
talking
day
about Blade.
one. That's all that you need to care about. But anything else?
No. I'm not doing that. I'm not being Mr. Nice Guy. The game is going to be exclusive. The game will be exclusive, right? And like that is the thing. It's not about talking about it right now.
Yep.
And Slow-Mo says he heard something different, but we can talk about that offline.
Okay.
But the point is, all of this hooting and hollering has everyone talking about the game.
Mhm.
Because if you said it was an Xbox exclusive from day one, I guarantee you the articles would have been the
over.
Redfall makers are making a vampire game. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Right. But because there's a chance, there's a snowball's chance in hell that it could come to PlayStation.
Could go. That's right.
Somebody's talking about it and they're reserving judgment and they're all hyping it up. Oh, this could be one. They finally got a superhero game, but it's still coming to PlayStation because you can't ignore PlayStation. And all that is article after article after article of people talking about Blade, and you're getting all of the PlayStation fans excited that they might be able to play, and then you're gonna pull the rug out from them under them at the last minute, and they're gonna be like, "Damn."
Jax82, $2 super chat. Thank you once again, sir. He says, Phil didn't buy ZeniMax to make games for everybody.
Yes, ZeniMax is not for the streets like Bungie.
Yeah, for the street. Oh no, that is just unfortunate. Don't do that. We will talk about Bungie. Here's a quick aside about Blade, right? And myself, Boomstick, we were chatting about it. This game will not release anywhere near when the movie's releasing, and we see Mahershala Ali out there doing the thing and all of this, right? People were saying, "Oh, it's Mahershala Ali is the new Blade." So maybe they can find a way of making that work. I doubt that will work. I doubt we even want to talk about that. But as someone brought up in Boom's show, and now people have been talking about it on Twitter, I want to get your opinion, Everborn Saga. What do you think about people asking and trying to pitch for having Wesley Snipes do the voice of this version of Blade?
I was actually going to say Michael Jai White should do the voice.
Really? I don't like his Blade. I don't at all. I feel like his Blade is neutered.
But
his Blade has always been neutered.
But the thing is, from this, it seems like they're going with a younger Blade.
Sure.
And so I don't know if either of them are going to be right for what they are going for.
No, I get that. But we're just asking. We're just asking, bro. We're just asking. You know, we're throwing it into the air. And I hear a lot of people talking about, oh well, Wesley is a diva or whatever. He was a diva back when he was doing Blade. He had the right to be a diva. A lot has changed. I think if you give a man a shot these days, he'll be far more amenable than he used to be because he has no reason to be a diva
Okay,
now.
how about this? You know who I want to play Blade? Sticky Fingers.
Sticky Fingers.
If you remember that.
Even his Blade,
yeah.
yes.
TV show.
Yeah, true. I saw the whole show. I saw the whole show. Yes. Or Idris Elba. I see Idris Elba in the I see Beast Mode saying Idris should play him.
Blade with a British accent. It doesn't feel right.
Hey man, Idris can do a good mean American accent too. Don't worry about it. Idris got you. But no, yeah, but I'm still on the point. I advocate thread that needle, make the hashtag Graybeards happy. You know, this is not Marvel's Blade that's tied to the MCU in any way. If you brought Wesley Snipes back to do this, it would get such respect. People would love it. Like, just that alone will bring people to this project, and just Blade to see it.
Would tell them he won $10 million. Wesley Snipes would tell him he won $10 million.
But see, this is the thing. I don't think he is hashtag prima donna like he used to be anymore. He now recognizes that, you know, he's not in a position of power to negotiate these things. He just wants to get back in the game, baby. I think now's the perfect time to give him that chance. You know, the fans want it, sure, but we know that, you know, it can be done without you. Do you think it's a terrible idea? You can tell me. You think it's a terrible idea?
I don't think it's a terrible idea. I think it would be cool, but I think there's other actors, and I don't know that it really matters. I think you know, I could totally see a lot of people doing that voice. So to me, listen, they may end up getting the voice actor they got from Deathloop to do it.
Well, there is a voice actor in the trailer, right? And I know people have been saying that. But yeah, that means nothing because David Hayter was replaced way later in the project, and he started in that project before, right? They changed the voice way late in the project, like way late. So like that stuff can always be changed, right? Splendor for his $2 super chat. He's saying, who did the voice in the trailer? Ever think about that? Hey man. and oh my God. Oh, now we're diverging really bad. Man, Mr. MBDJ is saying we should get Yang Ye in there to do the voice.
Oh, okay. Man.
That's just too much. That's just too much. That's too much. Okay, so
Slow-mo, check your DMs.
Oh, bring the man on board. Bring the man on board if he wants to jump in. Let's do it.
No.
Okay.
I mean, he can come on if he wants.
If he wants to, sure.
Check your DMs.
But let me ask you, Everborn. So we are here, right, with this whole Blade thing. What do you think, right? We knew about this right before it dropped. I'll tell you, I knew about it just a little bit before it dropped, right? We were super excited not to say anything.
Wait a minute. I know who should voice Blade.
Who should voice Blade?
Infinite Umbra.
Right? Come on. Get the man in there. Like, it's done. It's done. Umbra should voice Blade. Come on. Have y'all seen the table read of Umbra? Come on. He should. No doubt. 100%.
Get the hashtag going.
Get it going. Umbra, yes. Umbra for Blade.
Who else? You know who else I could? But Umbra, right? But if not Umbra, Tay Talks.
Shh. Seriously, you got a lot of options. I appreciate that because Tay also needs. He's also like missing his calling with that voice work that he does. You know, absolutely. Here, they say. Anyway, oh yes, and salute to the brother. I see him in here. Salute to Gerald Mack. Salute to you, good sir. I borrowed his thumbnail. He let me use it for the Blade aesthetics. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. It made our thumbnail extra crispy this weekend. So thank you, sir. Appreciate you letting me do that. And people should be following him on Twitter, by the way. Him and his AI game. You know, talk about your prompt specialist, or what is it? The prompt engineer. That man knows how to pull a lot out of the AI. So thank you so much. Every time he puts something new, I always appreciate it. So let me ask you, a lot of us have been talking about Microsoft needing their own superhero game, right? I was advocating that they go with DC to really corner the market in that regard, because there's not really a big DC contingent except for WB that's been doing the fighting games for a while. Right? I wanted them to go full bore into DC, how PlayStation has gone full bore into Marvel, but it looks like now they're playing the same game. Yeah, you know, you know, that's fine. What do you think, Everborn? Like, what do you think as to now they're playing the same game? Is it dangerous for them to play the same game? Are we expecting Arcane to get compared to what do you call it, to Insomniac? Like, are they playing in the same world? What do we think?
Well, you need to be very clear. They will be compared to Insomniac. This game will be held up next to
exactly
Marvel.
This is what I'm asking. Are they playing a dangerous game now?
And I think really the question is, how cinematic can they make it while still being true to their roots? Because I think that they can match that gameplay.
Oh yeah, gameplay wise, sure, but I'm talking about the full aspects that Sony brings.
I don't think it's super hard to match that gameplay. It's great, but can they match the storytelling and the visuals while adding their own arcane level of immersive sim?
Can they separate themselves without it being called now they're playing the Insomniac game? Yeah.
And can they pull it off with as much flair? And they're making the jump. This is their first third-person game.
Yes. Yep.
That's a lot. We'll see if they can do it. I believe they can, but it is something they're going to be under a big microscope for this. And I know Blade is a less popular character than Spider-Man, but he is more interesting in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's not even fair because Spider-Man has had great stories told, but I'm saying in the video game world, I think it's a very interesting character. So I don't know. I don't know how cinematic. And again, I'm sure they will get all the budget they need. But let's see. How is the storytelling in Dishonored?
I love the storytelling in Dishonored, bro. There's a reason why people say that Arcane is one game away from really connecting with their audience. Like, everyone who knows, who's an Arcane fan, knows that they make great games. Like, they make excellent, great games. They always have. They just have, it's always been this one's so close to connecting with the audience. This is so close to reaching critical mass, right? Kind of how Remedy has been.
But add an iconic character to it, who, especially if they have a great movie that puts them in the zeitgeist again, that might be all you need. Because listen, Insomniac was great before Spider-Man, but their names were on everybody's lips when you tied them to a major IP.
Yep, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So they took their learnings from the original IP, like Sunset Overdrive, and put that into Spider-Man. So Dishonored, if they can take their skills from Dishonored and all of that and their style of gameplay and add it to a character that everybody likes, that might be the strange alchemy, as it were, that will put them into the stratosphere. So
Splendiferous is saying, hey, well, at least we know the dialogue will be on point. Deathloop was great. Yes, shout out to Slow Mo Backslap. Great work he did in that game. Hopefully they hire him to come back to do that again.
Okay, Captain Keys.
Hey man, if y'all gonna call me Keys, I am calling that is Slow Mo in there, and nobody will tell me different.
And we didn't talk about this. Can you show, because we didn't talk about the Halo trailer that came out this week. Can you show the picture of Captain Keys from the Halo trailer?
No, I cannot show the
No, why not? Show the people.
I don't want to
show the people.
Because you're just gonna use it to troll me, man. Stop it. Stop the cap. This is what we're doing right now. We're not doing that.
They have you on screen, put it side by side.
Look, man, and all I will say is I have tried to showcase trailers, and when I showcase trailers, you know what happens? We get denied here on this channel. You know what happened with the Fallout trailer? I'm not going back there again, man. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because that's not cool. But yes. What? So you think that the stories in this thing, based on what do you call it? Deathloop will determine what it looks like moving forward. I don't know about that. Right? They're going third person, first person. So historical evidence be damned, there's still a chance that they could do something different, right? Or am I wrong in that?
Yeah, but
they could do something different.
I'm just saying people are going to expect this game to be as cinematically resonant.
There you go. Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah. Who are we looking at? We're looking at Kensante on screen.
No, he's far more grayer than I am. So stop it. He has unified gray.
That is makeup. That is makeup for the show.
Sure it is. Continue. But yes.
No, but so I just think people are gonna hold this game next to Spider-Man. There's no doubt.
Absolutely they will. Now my question is that a dangerous thing to do? Is it? Are you asking for trouble?
No.
No? You think they can do it? You think that they are up to par? They are ready for it?
I think that Machine Games is really good at cinematics.
Yes, they are.
And not to mention, you have all this talent and access to the tech from Blizzard. So you can make amazing cinematics. Right? Yeah. They have all the tools they need, and they know that this is going to be a big deal, and it will be something to say, hey, come over to this platform. They have Spider-Man, but we have Blade.
Yeah. That's a good thing. Arthur One in the chat actually pointing out a very interesting point. He said they'll be compared to Wolverine, not Spider-Man, because that will be the latest and greatest out there at that time.
And the gameplay style will be
possibly more comparable.
Blade uses.
Yeah,
I know that Blade
more melee heavy.
Sword and things like that. Yeah. But and you're not far more swinging around the city, so you can't fall back on that. And
will this be the same world, same universe?
Now this is interesting. This is something I want to talk about. This has that Marvel branding on it, meaning Marvel's Blade. Like
just like Marvel's Spider-Man. Yep. Are they in the same world?
I don't think Avengers had that branding on it. Please, chat. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
it did. Marvel's Avengers. It did.
Okay, so forget.
Yeah. Well, could that be why he's in Paris now? So now there's just no reason for them to meet each other. And there's no question about story story. Why they're picking a completely different location, even though they can be in the same universe as all being under quote unquote Marvel's universe. Why not?
Makes sense. But I think they could, because again, if you make these individual games, or even if you hint they're in the same universe but they never talk, later on, you could build up to something like that.
Absolutely.
Do your Avengers game the right way.
and you know what? I want to live in a world where Microsoft owned studio makes Blade, PlayStation owned studio makes Spider-Man, and somehow, some way they can live in the same world and even be in the same game while still being from different studio, different platforms. I want to live in that world where they can communicate at that level, knowing that their respective audiences would love it so much that they make something like that happen. That would be effing awesome. That'd be great. I would be so happy to live in that world where they have that connected universe, but they don't have to be, it has to be solely PlayStation or solely Xbox. Everyone can bring their talent to bear and, bring something unique that can be played on both sides of the house, and everybody would love that. That would be so cool. I don't know if we live in that world, but I want to live in that world. What do you think, everyone? Would that be cool? And if you're talking, you're on mute, sir.
My bad. So does that also go with EA's Iron Man and Blade Black Panther game?
I would love that. Hell yeah. Why not? Why not? Because remember, no matter who's making this, the single point of the single gatekeeper, if you will, is the quality barometer is Disney and how they force everyone into that quality requirement, right? So whether it be PlayStation making it, Xbox making it, third party EA or anybody else making it, as long as they all reach that barometer of quality, right? You can bring them together. Why not? Right? Different art styles for different games, but they can still kind of merge.
MLB is in Game Pass. Nothing
there you
is
go.
impossible.
Yeah, nothing is impossible. That's what I'm talking about. Nothing should be impossible. And it shouldn't be their console versus our console thing. if
No.
you
Let me
know,
stop you right there.
oh,
The only way I'm trying to see Blade on PlayStation is
uh-huh.
if they do a crossover and
That's
you
what I
can
mean.
see Sony's Spider-Man
Yeah,
on
that's
on
exactly what I
Xbox.
mean. Yes, they have theirs, Xbox has theirs, and then you have a crossover. It'd be really cool, right? I think that'd be a really cool thing. Gerald Mack, $5 super chat. Thank you once again, brother, for being here. He says, I think it's a good thing. It gives them a bar that they know that they have to raise Team Xbox Arcane. Yeah, absolutely. It's a good thing for them to see that, okay, we now know that there is one in this space that's beyond reproach, which would be PlayStation and Insomniac. Now we need to, look at that bar, spend our time hitting that bar and exceeding it, right? It's good, right? The second mover's advantage, if you will, right? They know what the bar is. Now you can exceed it. That'd be cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what's what there. All right, so before we get out of here, I want to ask you, Mr. Everborn Saga, this is absolutely Microsoft listening to their fans, right? Everyone has been asking for this.
It's them listening to their fans if it's exclusive.
What do you think of the future? Is this the first of a few? Are we going to start seeing a lot more of these kind of moves being made? Because there's been that rumor of Star Wars also lingering. Like, is this the floodgates opening and now Phil's like, you know what? Screw it. Let the IP content licensing agreements begin? Because we know that he's been the reason why a lot of that has been held up because, once bitten, twice shy. They had reasons for that in the past.
Well, so it's a difference now though, right? When all they could rely on was their own IP, because these deals, would become too economically unfeasible for them, then okay, right? You don't want to do deals like that because you could focus that on, acquisitions or building out your own in-house studios. And shout out to Splendiferous if you want this Spawn game. I'm with you, sir. But the thing is, everybody is like, I lost my train of thought. What was the question again? Splendiferous threw me off with that Spawn thing.
I asked you the future. Are we seeing the floodgates open?
Okay, yeah. Okay, I got you. I think yes. Before, when you didn't have your own games like Fable and COD that you can rely on now, they have all these games of their own that if a partnership doesn't work out, they still have their own
something to fall back on.
Several per year, in fact. Them doing a licensing deal or even doing a second party deal with Kojima, that's more on the table, because if Blade goes south or if they want it to be multi-plat later on or whatever, doesn't really matter, right? It's not, because you still have it in Game Pass, and you have all your other games that will still cement your brand. And again, I think people are putting a lot of stock into that the game may be forced to be multi-plat. I think money talks and BS walks.
Yeah.
And I think Microsoft has all the money.
Basically. So if Indiana
and
Jones can be proven to be multi-plat, that then has become exclusive. If that can be there, that they pay for, I have no reason to think that this cannot be that way as well. Absolutely. I will say I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. Now, you asked to talk about it before we go. So let's talk about it before we go. We didn't get a chance to talk about it beforehand. We didn't talk about it on this show. Let's talk about it. And this quote says it all. Every day I walk in afraid that I or my friends are next. Destiny 2 Bungie developers describe soul-crushing mood after layoffs and worries of a Sony takeover mounting, which that last part is always hilarious to me, a Sony takeover mounting, when they bought you, they own you. What are you talking about? They owned you already. Oh, Sony
Well,
takeover. That happened when
what
you
this
cha-ching signed the dotted line.
you know what this is? It's always like that when you see this open relationship couples. It's really only one of them that wanted the open relationship, and the other one had to go along with it. I think somebody's getting a little jealous now in that relationship, and they want some kind of they want some kind of monogamy in their.
Are you saying all of a sudden the big ears of Will Smith just popped up somewhere in this situation?
Hey man, I saw somebody do like a meme where it was like,
yes, I saw that.
Bungie was Jada, and Xbox. Sorry, PlayStation was Will, and Xbox was Tupac. Terrible.
So yes,
anyway,
let's talk. We're having fun, we're laughing, but let's be clear before we even talk about this. You know, layoffs happening at jobs. You know, people's careers. People who've been doing this for years. Some people who've actually had their hands in the Halo pot being let go. Very sad. Like super sad. Like I said, the first thing I said when I saw this was, can you believe that these guys were so strong that they were able to shake the spot from Microsoft, shake the spot to a certain extent from Activision? They took money from the Chinese government and still were able to maintain their independence. It took PlayStation to shake them to a point where where Bungie may no longer exist as we know it.
PlayStation contracts are ironclad.
Oh boy, right? It's so sad. But yes, continue.
Now, I have a question for the audience. Will Bungie still be a part of PlayStation or Sony in the next 5 years?
Now, how do you mean that?
No, okay. I mean that they were owned by Microsoft. They were in a tight partnership for Destiny with Activision. Now they are with Sony, and we're hearing these things. And but see, let me take it to another level.
Here's my question. No, what you're saying, and I'll let you continue. I don't think they are capable of shaking the spot like they have in the other instances. When you say in the next 5 years, the question is, do they even exist? Do they get disbanded? That's what I mean. You're asking.
Do they become like?
Because divorcing themselves from Sony, like they've divorced themselves and divorced them, I don't think they can do that here. I don't think so. Right. They've been able to divorce themselves. I don't think that this is possible here.
Does this become a BioWare situation
where they all just leave and create a new, call themselves
and they
Fungi,
Fungi.
You know, all of a sudden the Bungie studio gets closed by Sony, and then a new studio pops up called Fungi, with a bunch of retired Bungie devs.
So, and again, there's all this negative news, and again, when your staff is not happy, right, or not, let me not say not happy. When they have that stress of you, I'm saying you do your best work when you're comfortable, not comfortable in the sense of
when they say that the work environment is soul crushing,
right? Are they going to be able to do their best work,
right? Quote unquote. You know, exactly.
Right.
You know.
So that's one part of it. Now, Sony historically has not stuck with games that didn't really hit the way some of their other bigger things did, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people liked Order 1886,
myself included. Thought it was great,
right? But they never continued it, right?
No,
because
they
didn't do.
Yeah, and then they sold the studio right? to Facebook, who's now making VR games.
A lot of people liked Days Gone. They did not continue with that game.
Yep.
Right? And so every service, like 10 service games get announced, one of them will stay around.
Yeah.
And the ones that do stay around are the ones that stick with it after the initial boom and bust phase.
Yep.
It's the people that say, I'm going to stick with this thing for 2 or 3 years. I'm going to put all the devs on it. I'm going to spend the money. I'm going to do the investment. Does Sony stick with Marathon if it is not a hit right out of the gate?
I'll even do you one better. Does Marathon release on Xbox? Dun,
Well,
dun, dun.
No, but I mean, they want it to be a service game. They want
Yes,
all
they
the people
do.
they can get.
Yes, they do. But at the end of the
Right.
day, that was a determination that Bungie made independent of Xbox. I mean, independent of Sony. Sony coming in, dissolving the board and putting themselves on top. Do you not think like they themselves as a
Sony
platform
is
owner?
Sony is already on the board. They're half the members on
True,
the board. Herman
true.
Holtz is on that board.
Herman Holtz is on that board. Yes, but there are dissenting views on that board. That's the reason why the first thing you hear about is Sony's total takeover. If Sony didn't feel like a total takeover was necessary, you wouldn't be hearing that, hey, you missed your target, so we're taking over, right? That board is tumultuous to them, and as such, they are now eyeing on getting rid of it. Meaning,
Well, I mean,
some decisions that have been made by said board are not to Sony's liking, even though they're on it.
so sure, whether it comes to them or not, right?
Yeah.
You're just lessening the pot of which that game can make for you.
True.
And if that service game, which requires all of that upkeep, does Sony stick with it? If the final shape doesn't hit, does Sony stick with Destiny long term?
Yeah, I mean, they're getting rid of a lot of the talent that they say they acquired, right? The layoffs here and there. So what do they, like, there are no sacred cows. Like, is there a world where Destiny 2 exists in the next 3 years? Or do they shut servers off and move on?
I don't think they're going to shut servers off, but I mean...
Well, add new content to it. Because remember, the final shape is the last, question. And then they move on, right? They may, if the final shape does good, there may be more content in that same world, but like you're saying, it may not do so well. And if it doesn't do so well, do they exit stage left and let it kind of fester?
But I don't know. But the broader question that I want to know is if the final shape is the end of like their last major story update for Destiny, and they want to transition everyone to Marathon. What does Sony do if Marathon is not a hit out the gate? Do they stick with it for the 2 or 3 years that it takes to get it going? Or do they say you're just going to help us work on other games now? Because that's what they really say they bought them for, so that they can help them make these other.
Well, but they've also fired a lot of them since they say they bought them for that.
Yeah, but it's not like, I know it's reported, but it's not like they fired half of their staff. They fired they fired 10% of the staff.
True.
I'm not saying that that's like a good thing or being flippant about it. I'm saying most of the people are still there. So, again, I'm interested to hear what Slow-Mo has to say about this, right?
Well, Slow-Mo's saying they'll still be on PC, so hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
But if Marathon doesn't hit, does Sony stick with it for the prerequisite time that is needed to give the game the legs it needs?
I'm sorry, I have to say this because I see it in the chat and it's hilarious. Andrew Wilkins in the chat. I love it. He's the Jon Snow in the chat, one man band, saying Blade will be multiplat, and both Arcane Studios aren't good at all. So Xbox fans hoping for an exclusive displays their desperation even more.
But wait a minute. Wait a minute. If the game, I need to understand this.
If they're not good,
the game isn't good, why does it? Why would it be? Why does it matter if it's multiplayer? Like, what if the game? You know what?
I love that he's just Jon Snow against the masses.
Listen, everybody have fun with that guy. Hey yo. Okay.
Oh man.
Slow-Mo says, I think they'll give it more times the Destruction All Stars for sure.
Ooh,
If it doesn't hit initially, they'll keep supporting it for a while.
For a while, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I'm just saying that's not typically something Sony does.
Mm-hmm.
Because like they don't want anything messing up the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I'm saying if it doesn't hit, do they just cut bait, move on, and say you're gonna either move on to your next project or everybody is gonna be helping our other studios to make these other service games? That's really what I'm getting at.
Voidlock, $2 super chat. He says Sony destroy multiplayer-based developers. Well, I mean, I think they haven't really cultivated those multiplayer main developers. They try to turn their single player developers into multiplayer developers, and many of them revolted because of it, right? So it seems that instead of like cultivating more of those, they try to turn their regulars into those, and many of them did not appreciate that. But okay. I don't want to leave off in this conversation with just this. I have to ask: are we worried? And I think this may be the final question I ask about this, and then we'll call it quits today because we're around 3 hours. Are we worried now that we've seen the roadmap for Xbox? We kind of saw a little bit of roadmap for PlayStation, but still not much. Are we worried for 2024?
For who? Well, first of all, when chickens come home to roost, that doesn't make me mad. Matter of fact, makes me glad. No, but
because we still don't know. We don't know the roadmap. What's happening in the first half of 2024 for PlayStation?
I think we do know the roadmap. It's just not like if we look at the talking points that we argue about in the community.
Mm-hmm.
If we're being fair,
mm-hmm.
if a game is exclusive, it doesn't matter whether you made it first party or not. The game's exclusive to your ecosystem, right?
Sure.
And so Sony's roadmap for 2024 is Final Fantasy Rebirth. It is Rise of Ronin.
Yeah.
It is Stellar Blade, which I don't think is coming out in 2024, but we'll see. It's slated, right?
Stellar Yams, baby. Let's go.
They have a bunch of exclusives from their friends, from their partners that are coming out. And so we can't ignore that. It's still exclusive to the platform. Or Helldivers 2 is another one. And
but Helldivers 2 is their game. Yeah.
The audience it's their game, but it's the second party, right? They don't own the studio making it.
Sure. Okay. So this is what we have right now. This is what from the small amount of digging, the quick amount of digging I've been able to do, and I'll put that on display right here. So
Concord is not coming out in 2024.
So we'll talk about it. So this is from Tech Radar, or is it no? Tech Radar. This is so far what they've been able to aggregate as to what they see for 2024, right? Helldivers has a date, February 8th, right? Final Fantasy Rebirth has a date, February 29th, and that's it, those two. And now okay, the rest of these are TBDs, and they seemingly think it's 2024.
Okay, just scroll up a little bit. Let me see that. No chance in hell Marvel's Wolverine is coming out in 2024. Concord's not coming out 2024. Marathon, I doubt it will make 2024. Last of Us Factions, hilarious. Fair Game, who knows? Phantom Blade Zero, definitely not coming out in 2024.
Okay.
Sword of the Sea, I don't know what that is. Silent Hill 2 Remake, I think we will get. Pacific Drive, I don't know what that is. But still, if half of these games come out, does it matter that they're not first party? That only Wolverine is first party?
Yeah.
I don't think it matters.
I don't think so either. Because a lot of people, and I've heard this conversation.
In the consumer's mind, they may as well be first party.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard a lot of people say, this year, what are you talking about? PlayStation didn't have games, and then they'll list off a bunch of multi-plat. So as long as that's where you play your games, it doesn't matter whether it's exclusive or not.
And again, this just goes to show you that when we're the reason we're even having this conversation about not knowing the roadmap is because people are holding PlayStation to the same examples that Xbox was held to.
Yes,
right?
that's what I'm trying to do. We're trying to keep the energy.
At?
Yes.
Right. No. But what I'm saying is that was bull stuff.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Right.
It's not, because I'll tell you honestly, me personally, I want to see some of these. I want to see what I'll be playing on the PlayStation side. I enjoy my PlayStation, and I don't get it at all. Are you not going
to play any of these games that are in front of you?
I mean, well, of all the lists, probably Helldivers. I'll probably play Helldivers so far, and that's a bit.
Helldivers. I'll be playing Final Fantasy Rebirth.
Yeah, I'll play Helldivers.
It's 7, by the way.
Because Rebirth is a PC game for me, a remake. I'm not playing it on the console. I'm playing it on the PC. So Helldivers I'll play, but the rest of that, I don't like. As you can see from the list here, and you've even picked apart how many of them will actually make 2024. It's not BS. It's not. We want to know. Right? And I see, what is it? Slow-mo, I see you in the chat. He's saying the same thing. It's not BS. Right? It's the same thing for PlayStation. What are we going to play there, and when are we going to get to play it? You know, so and I understand, and don't get me wrong, for a normal consumer who just plays on one console, I understand that they'll be fine. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about me. I enjoy my PlayStation games. I enjoy my Xbox games. What will I be playing in 2024? Go ahead.
And I'm gonna use yours for today because you didn't use one. I'm saying the people we have been arguing with have been full of shit. That's what I mean when it's BS.
Sure, but right? That's the people you argue with, not me.
And so this is all I'm getting at. And yes, we do need to see where their first party is, but the fact of the matter is they do have some exclusive coming. They at least have Final Fantasy 7.
Where is this thing?
They have Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth coming.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's people being ridiculous on this thing. So hold on. So I wanted to show more. So here's another site saying about the most anticipated. Hear me. The most anticipated PS5 games of 2024. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, right? Sword of the Sea, Marvel's Wolverine, Stellar Blade, Dragon's Dogma 2. Even though that is not also on Xbox?
Dragon's Dogma 2 is definitely multi-plat. What are you looking at? That's not what's
this is. This is the Gamer. This is the Gamer. TheGamer.com. I was trying to post it, but they won't let me post it on the stream. TheGamer.com's list. Skull and Bones, Crimson Desert. You know, they're filling it with multi-plats, saying that that's the first party, and that's basically the point here, right? As long as you game only there, right?
The media doing cover fire, like
that's right. So here's Push Square's version of it. Here's that, right? So these are the biggest coming games.
On there.
Yes, December. You know, look, right? Tekken, right? The Last of Us 2 remastered. But it's a very
speaking of that, and it's to this, but we didn't talk about it during the Game Awards discussion.
No worries.
Not a single new game announcement wasn't also on Xbox.
True.
And I can remember 2 years ago that was not the case.
Very true. Well, except for the DLC for God of War.
I said new game announcement. That's a DLC, sir. We already heard about Rise of Ronin.
Yeah, we also already heard about Rise of Ronin. Absolutely. So all the new ones are now coming to Xbox. They just will.
Yeah, and that's a credit to the work that they've done.
Shine Films, that's also a known commodity. We already knew about Wolverine. So based on his metrics, Wolverine doesn't count, and Rise of Ronin doesn't count.
But Wolverine wasn't at the Game Awards, so I'm saying at the Game Awards, every new game that was announced was coming everywhere, right? There was there was no new game announced that wasn't coming.
That wasn't coming to Xbox. No, that's true.
You know.
Yep.
And hey, listen, we're talking about this, right? But we still have like 12 days for that secret showcase that we were told about.
Are you gonna continue doing that? Stop! Don't do that. So okay, I think that's the end of this episode. I think we're at the end of this episode. this year for us has been a banner year for this show. This is the final live show we're gonna do. Again, quick housekeeping: we will be putting into the feed the spoiler chat for Starfield, and in that, I'm gonna ask all of my great community members. I see you in there, Umbra, a few other folks. We're gonna ask all y'all to come and give us your takes on Starfield, and have you beaten it? Will you beat it? You know, how's your experience been post initial run through? You know, no more spoilers here, but we'll talk about it there. We will also have another show that we'll record, probably a smaller one, just to discuss the various things that we're trying to do for 2024. We will definitely be talking about that as well. But this year has been awesome, and I appreciate it every year we do this. We're doing it more and more. We're getting better at it. We're getting far more professional at it, and it couldn't have been done without the man, Mr. Everborn Saga.
Professional. Speak for yourself.
Hey, look, we got visuals this year. You know, the camera's crispy. You know, shout out to you, good sir, for being here for this year. You know, tell the people all the things that they can keep up with during the Christmas season. You know, where they can keep up with all your ongoing.
Well, we got the giveaway coming, so keep your eye out for that. My dogs will not shut the hell up. I don't know if you guys can hear that through my mic.
Yes, sir.
But we also have we're finally up and running with production again on the Everborn comic stuff. So we will be launching the Kickstarter for Ariel's Adventure Chapter 2 in January. We are just now starting the opening pages for Prince of Arcadia Chapter 5, which I'll let you guys in on a secret. Chapter 5 is actually like a Chapter 0, because if you follow those the Prince of Arcadia comic, there's a dispute about the throne, and now we show you how that all started off. So you're going to see a lot of people as their younger selves that led up to that battle at Wildwood Gate. And then from there, we're going to be going into production on the Redlands Chapter 2, and we're releasing a whole new series, which is halfway done now. And that book itself is going to be over 100 pages because it's 2 chapters in one. So all that stuff's happening.
Slow-mo says your dogs just caught a blue rat, so that's why they're so excited.
But maybe I can find the time to really get back to the games that we're working on as well. It's just time's crazy, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, and the new year coming will bring some differences on this channel, and hopefully we want to build a better network. We want to do better. We want to do more, right? And there's not enough time in the damn day, so we'll definitely get together, and we'll definitely put it together, and we'll talk to the people proper, because I feel like we want to galvanize our community. We want to excite folks. We want to let people in on the stuff we're thinking about, the stuff that we want to work on. Talk about the cool stuff that might come to our channel and all of that in the new year. But of course, thanks to everyone who has been here throughout the year. Great people in the chat. We see you guys every week. Great community members and content creators. I see you in there, Mr. Infinite Umbra. I see you in there, Slow-Mo Backslap. I see you, Pixelbit G and Wandering Dutch and Web Dave and all the other guys who've jumped in a time or two to lend their voices to this chat. Paris Lily, salute to you, good sir. You know, lending his voice, keeping the boot on the neck, as it were. Mr. John Wolf, Mr. Joanna Dark, just so many people, you know, and the people in the chat, of course, Dorian Gray and Nine Lives, and just so many people that always jump in on here. When we do our spoiler chat, we will record it, but I think we'll do it also live. We may not announce it. We'll just kind of drop it on there. For those who want to be spoiled, we'll let you know when we're doing it, so you can be a part of that if you want to. And then we'll also do the state of GCP that we'll also do. It won't be like a Saturday as normal. We'll just kind of drop it in the feed at some point. But you know, absolutely, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna end this year right and start next year proper as well. Everborn Saga, any last words before we get out of here for the people?
Blade is exclusive. Argue with your mama.
Oh man, it's terrible. And remember, Christmas Day we will be giving away a Series X. Keep us.
Oh wait, sorry, I
follow.
lied. My last words, not last words. Wow, last words of this year for this show are Sega is back, baby.
Indeed. Sega!
Nice to be in orbit.